What's up, motherfuck? I swear I don't do this on purpose. I swear I don't do this on purpose. It's just too many fucking things to remember. What's up, Steak? Good morning. Style, I see, is in the queue or in the lobby, but he's got maybe some camera difficulties right now, so we'll let him figure that out before we bring him up. I think Fat Girls is going to join us later. Good morning, Steak. You are what hat is that? Is that NC State Bulldogs? No,
yeah, Angels. Oh,
like
old school Angels hat.
Like the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Pretty sure.
What's the C about? A boot.
California.
That's an old school Angels logo?
Pretty sure.
I don't know if I believe you.
Let's see. Ask the chat. I think this is the California Angels hat.
Well, the funny thing is we've got two fucking Angels fans that are usually in here, Jake Hazen and Mid-Major. So I'm sure that they can.
I did it for Mid-Major, not for Jake. Jake is fading Kansas State, so we're enemies this year.
Yeah, I don't really like that. So we'll talk college football on Thursday. But yeah, I don't like that. I gotta say, Jake is Hazen is a pretty good. Well, I was gonna say Pac-12. The Pac-12 is no more, but he's a really good Pac-12 capper. But overall, I think he's pretty good in college football. He knows Auburn very well. So I'm looking forward to talking all sorts of football. You're fresh off of playing NCAA last night. You played Style. We'll bring Style up when he gets his camera. I see Fat Girls is ready too, so we'll give it a few minutes. How was your first experience with the NCAA football game? Did you enjoy it?
I think it's really fun. I was literally just playing it up until you sent me the stream link. It's very fun. Kyle beat me with Florida State. I had Oklahoma. I was down 21-27, and I had a red zone turnover, and that was pretty much a wrap for me there. So Kyle beat me. I beat Alex with Florida. He had UCF, and those are the only two head-to-heads I played so far.
Why did you pick Oklahoma?
I was trying to think of a fun, even match for FSU. I was going to go Oregon, but that was a little too high, so I picked Oklahoma. Don't say shit, Prime. Don't say shit, Prime. It was random.
So you and I are going to play Thursday, and then once we get some our bearings under ourselves, I'm down to play more people. I'd love to play Style. I know Fat Girls is a gamer, but I don't want to play Fat Girls yet because he's probably too good. Like these guys that are gamers, I don't want to play gamers. I'm not there yet.
I'll say this right now. Kyle's good too.
Oh yeah, I fear Kyle more than I fear you.
You should.
I definitely there's a lot of things in life I think you're better than me at. I don't think it's going to be video games, but I'm talking a big game. I don't just talk to talk. I think I'm going to mop the floor with you. What was
You're not mopping the floor with me.
What was your strength? Was it defense, offense?
Offense for sure. I suck at defense. That's my complete weakness.
You're not. I'm not going to punt.
What? That's already stupid. That's already a huge mistake.
Did you punt?
Yeah, absolutely. If the situation calls for a punt, you punt.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to punt because I don't want to punt. I'm not going to punt because you're not going to get me on fourth down.
So it's 4th 11 on your own 30 and you're not punting?
You're not putting me in a 4th and 11.
If it's 4th and 11 on your own 30, are you going to punt?
Yes. I'm not stupid, but okay. You're not going to get me.
You said you weren't punting. I'm just.
You're not going to make me punt. Let's put it that way. Style, are you good? Just give me a thumbs up whenever you're ready to roll. Yeah. Okay. Good morning. What's up?
What is going on?
How's it going?
Good to see you all. The Easy Money logos
can I chime in real quick on your guys' conversation because I heard everything.
Yes, you can. Hold on here, Fat Girls. I'm going to put you down real quick. Let's do it.
Is there a way to put the house on stake on this matchup on Thursday?
I'm telling you, that's an insane thing to do. Why would you do that?
You have to punt, DJ, and you have to punt.
You're not okay. I misspoke. I am not going to go out there and say I'm going for it on fourth down every time. My point is this: Steak is not putting me in a punt situation. He's not.
I don't know, man. He put me in a punt situation. I feel like I'm
better than what did he? So. Did you run past and he just stopped you?
Yeah, I mean, you got to understand that, the AI plays a little bit too. So, they're stopping you on your, halfback draws and your dives. And, if you try to run a quick slant, sometimes you get cracked and you don't catch the ball. It's a really realistic game. It's actually really fun. Really, really fun.
That probably is something I'm underestimating. I haven't played video games in a very long time. I haven't played a football video game in a very long time. So maybe I am underestimating that. What difficulty level did you play at?
We played on varsity, but the way to play is on all pro. Which is it's like a step above. That way the AI is not giving up. You could get cooked. Some of the AI cornerbacks are getting cooked on certain routes and whatever. And then you have to switch the user real quick. So it's real hard to like kind of dictate and switch before, you know, the dude's already 15 yards ahead of you. You know what I mean? So like on all pro, that alleviates all that. It's really the users that are making the difference. You know what I mean?
Style had Malik Benson from Florida State. He had 250 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. I mean, he literally was open every single play. But then when I played Alex, it was on All-American, and it was just way more realistic.
Yeah, exactly. And then me and Al played on All-American, and he smacked me up a little bit. And the unders hit too, man. I think the score was 7-0 in the first half. So
that's good to know. How was who was the away team?
Oh, I was Florida State at home, and I mean, State could talk about it.
It was really, really hard, dude. Once you get in like 3rd and long, you can't see your fucking play. It's rattling. Your fucking controller's vibrating. I'm pretty sure I feel like something came through the speakers or something. It was loud.
So you know how DJ, you know, I'm sure you played a game maybe back in the day where you know, you hold R2 and you can see all your players, you know, X, Y, Z. You can't see that when it's 3rd and 11 and long and the stadium's hype. It's just a bunch of question marks above their heads. And
that's very cool. I heard somebody saying that. And I think I saw a clip of it on
you know, play option passes where you can, you know, choose whether you hold it down, you can choose. I don't know if you know this or not, but on a play option, you hold the hike button down, which is X, and they'll run the first option. If you tap it, they'll run the second option. Well, when you're in that position too, and you're the away team, you can't understand, and the quarterback will mess up. So you'll hold it down, and now you're running it when you're supposed to throw it. So you're confused too. And yeah, it's dope. It happened to Al twice last night where he was like, I was supposed to run this play. And you know, it just didn't happen that way because it's too loud. So
all right. Then I'm gonna take a step back then on my confidence of beating Jake's ass. I will say that I'll probably punt. And so between you two, what would you set the spread at if you were to play again?
Style minus 9.5.
Really?
No. 6.5. It's a 6.5. Yeah, 6.5 for sure.
So without knowing how Steak is and without knowing anything about me, what do you set the line at?
I'm gonna be honest. This is not disrespectful, DJ. I think it's probably at 13.5.
That's fucking
no way.
crazy.
No way. I don't want.
How was he a double-digit favorite against me?
No, it's gonna be 13.5, dude. It's got to be, dude. DJ, you've never played, bro. Steak at least has 2 days of training now. You know what I mean? And he's learned.
I'm gonna play today.
So you guys not playing? Oh, so your first game on ever is not going to be against Steak?
No, I don't want that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, then man, I don't know. Then I'll redact that. I'd still say probably 9.5 is a good one.
That's
between you two.
Fucking crazy. If anybody can get some action on me with catching 9.5 points, hammer the alt, the money line, etc.
Who knows?
Girls,
DJ's a sharp, dude. Who knows?
Bro, when's the last time you played a video game?
So when COVID hit, I pulled out my Xbox. It was literally covered in dust, plugged it in, and I fired up NHL. And I played NHL for like the 2 months that you couldn't do anything. I haven't played a football video game in probably 9 years.
Yeah, straight up, I'd probably pull
that girl was
everything I own on Style minus 6.5. I'm not gonna lie, dude. The thing is, too, your
Style is against me.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about D-Gen.
No. So I'd play Steak, and then Steak would play D-Gen.
Yeah, those are different then. And you're talking about punting, dude. Like your first couple punts are going to be like 13 yards. Like the kicking, you got to get used to it.
The kicking was the hardest part for me.
So hard. Yeah. Especially field goals, dude. I kicked a field goal from 46 yards, and the thing is like this.
I love how it makes it more challenging. I'm getting a little bit nervous now, I will say, but that's okay. I want the game to be competitive. If I see what I'm really underestimating here is I thought Steak would not be good at running defensive coverages, and he just admitted that was his weakness. I'm a wizard with the offensive playbook. My timing is impeccable. I'm going to run 2 to 3 screen passes, and when I call them, it's going to be when Steak is blitzing. They're going to go for 80-yard touchdowns minimum. But here's also the other thing: the run game was like more involved back in my day. So there were a lot more triple options. There were a lot of power eyes. They don't really do that anymore. So you would get into 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2 a little bit easier. Maybe there's more spread offenses now, and I'm going to have to rely on the pass. So I'm looking forward to it. Thursday, 6:30, and then we'll all start playing each other. Fat Girls, have you played the game?
Hold up. I'll be back in 1 sec.
That's fine. Take your time. All right. So anyways, we can start to, I guess, getting in. I'm sorry for starting late, by the way. I was on a 9:30 meeting that usually goes for 30 minutes, and it went about 45. I didn't have time for breakfast. I'm literally eating an avocado with salt and olive oil. It's quite filling if people don't know and need a quick pick me up.
Really good for your heart.
Great for your heart. Avocados, I think they're good for your brain too.
Yeah.
Although I'm not like the crazy guy where you have to get avocado and guac on everything. I know people were kind of in that phase for a while. Not me. Anyways, we're gonna get going on football. Shout out to Steak, Fat Girls and Style for kind of at least getting the conversation going, because I've been entrenched in baseball and I could use a mental break from it. So last night, Style, you didn't bet the home run derby, did you?
No, I didn't. It sucks though, because I would have took
Teoscar?
No, I would have took bets too. I would have lost.
Okay.
Definitely would have took the guy who won it, but
yeah, I did not take Adalis. I took Ozuna, which I ended up realizing he's 33 years old. And shout out to POD Pete. He lost, but his model was pretty good. It was like everybody that wins for the last 7 years is 26 or younger. And then there was something about the exit velo, which I don't give a fuck. Ozuna, Porterhouse, first time chatter, says easy money. What's up? Clam Mucker with a sub bang. Appreciate you.
What's going on, Porter?
But the straight bets that we talked about, POD under 26.5 first round, that was fucking sweat free. Love that. J-Rom, I think, pushed against Alec Boehm. It was never J-Rom, and 13-1 was quite telling on that.
Yeah.
And I think Boehm definitely impressed a lot of people. And Teoscar, shout out to Cornfields. That's what I wanted to get at here. Cornfields was in here saying there was value with Teoscar, 10-1. He was fucking right. So great call there, Fat Girls. It looks like you're back and ready to go. All right,
I'm good.
So, okay, let's just wanted to touch on that real quick before we start talking about football. I want to discuss NFC today. And we don't have to necessarily deep dive, but I want to see where everybody's heads are at, like just initial thoughts, reactions, etc. I just listened to my first football podcast of I guess you could say of the season, since last season ended. I listened to a little Adam Chernoff. I've talked about him before last season. Very smart guy, a little too analytical for my blood. I do have Warren Sharp's preview. It's about 559 pages. It's the only book I usually read every year. And I have not gotten into it at all yet, but I will. Looking forward to getting in on that. But other than that, I don't really know many of like the starting lineups, the depth charts. I don't really know all of the coaching staffs. So as we talk about these teams, I'm going to look this shit up and touch on it and bring it up. If you guys know these things, please don't hold any information back that might be helpful to share as we get a little bit more familiar with each team heading into the season. Does anybody know when training camp starts? First question.
It's got to be incredibly soon, because I feel
Very
like
soon.
that Hall of Fame game is like, what, 2.5 weeks away or something?
I think it's August 1st.
Yeah, so we're close. I mean, training camp has to start very soon.
It's got to start like next week. Oh, here we go. See, thank you to the chat for helping us out here. Rookies are in now. Rookies reported today for some teams. Wow. Varies, but usually July 27th. That's what I thought, but it wouldn't make any sense if a team plays on August 1st. My team starts on the 24th. Okay. So I know it's very funny when people start to make their bets. They look at these training camp videos. I love seeing like a catch by a wide receiver 3 in the back of the end zone. One hand gets his toes in, and then everybody's like, "Oh, this guy's gonna have a fucking blowout year." And then you start, taking his props, or he's moving up.
Big year coming for KJ Osborne.
Yeah, he's like the fucking perfect guy for that. But anyways, I don't mind hearing like some silly ideas or thoughts or players. I got to give it to Ramble. I don't know if Ramble's here in the chat. I went on their stream last year during this time, and one of his friends, MJ's friends, I don't know if he's really involved or not, told me about Tank Dell. I didn't hear a thing about Tank Dell before the season started, and he's like, keep an eye on this guy, keep an eye on this guy. Dude was fucking awesome. So anyways, just kind of like give everybody an overview of what we're going to be discussing and how it's going to go. Let's talk NFC, and I think Style or Steak, you're a Vikings fan. Style, you're an Eagles fan. Fat Girls, you're Bears, and I'm a Bucks fan. So we're all NFC guys. So I think this whole squad kind of really makes sense. In terms of starting with a division, if it's okay with you, I would love to talk about the NFC East.
Let's go.
All right. Yeah. So, no favoritism necessarily to the Eagles or style, but I always feel like because of the my disdain for Daniel Jones and the Giants, the Cowboys being the Cowboys, the Eagles are interesting this year, and then people are kind of sneaky high on the Commanders. I think it could be a well-rounded conversation where like each team might be sort of interesting to dive into. So on that note, style, we can start with your Eagles. I'm going to reference DraftKings. And obviously, you guys can shop around if you're going to make any bets. I don't have any bets in right now. I don't plan to make any right at this moment. But I'm going to reference DraftKings, and I'm going to pull up some lines here pretty soon and get some win totals.
Okay.
Does anybody know what they're at right now? The Philadelphia Eagles win total?
10.5.
I think it was 10.5 or
10.5, and the over is -130. I would have to imagine that's a bit of respect. My initial lean on the Philadelphia Eagles is positive. I'm not going to be fading this team. We loved them last year. That was my Super Bowl pick. It was a bad bet. For the first 11 weeks of the season, I was here to tell you the Eagles were good. I don't care how they were winning games. The Eagles are good. Love Jalen Hurts. I'm not a huge fucking what's the head coach's name?
Sirianni.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Sirianni guy. But the biggest issue was their coordinators leaving. They didn't really have an identity. They didn't figure it out. Hurts is there. They got Saquon, but they replaced both coordinators. I'll find out from who exactly, unless you guys know off the top of your head.
Fangio and Kellen Moore.
Fangio defense, and he was with the Dolphins, was the head coach of the Broncos, defensive guy. Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator. I think that's pretty interesting. Style, right off the bat right now, are you high or low on your Eagles?
Honestly, man, I'm pretty high on them. I think they had a lot of things that needed to work out. Obviously, we saw the meltdown. Everybody, talks about it till this day. I think that the Eagles have, just like Phil just put up, I think they have a good chance of winning the division. As far as the draft, I think we did very well in the draft. It was huge getting Saquon. I'm not saying I wasn't a fan of Swift. Swift was amazing. Not going to say anything bad about him. But I do think, especially. Now, hear me out. I know people keep talking about the brotherly love, the tush push and all that, and how it's not going to be a thing this year without Kelsey. But I do think that with Saquon and our, I guess, improved secondary, I think we'll fill in a lot of those gaps that we missed last year. And I'm not saying anything negative about our throwing game. Hurts looked somewhat bad toward the end of the season. And this is what it is. But I heard all kinds of rumors. I'm sure you guys heard them too, of why this was going on, why they, him and AJ Brown weren't coordinating and weren't, throwing the best. And I feel like they'll get a lot of those kinks worked out. So I am hopeful. I definitely think they smash this 10.5 over. I am a little bit worried about the playoffs. I do think they're going to make the playoffs, but I'm worried about them as a playoff team. But other than that, man, I think they'll have a pretty good season. And then they could definitely hit that over. And I am excited to see how these corners play. So, yeah.
So you referenced it, but the draft, I do think they drafted well. I think they've been drafting well too, which I love.
They've always been on well.
Yeah, it's smart. They're just going after Georgia or SEC players on defense, which is great. So round one, Quinyon Mitchell from Toledo dropped to him. Cooper DeJean, second round, and then defensive end Jalix Hunt. I don't really know who that is. I'm not going to pretend to. But they addressed the secondary, which was absolutely dreadful. It was on par with the 2022 Minnesota Vikings defense. It was one of the worst secondaries I had ever seen. Sorry about that, Steak. Okay. So last year 11-6, 2022 14-3. They're Sirianni, 3 years experience. They did lose Hassan Reddick. They lost Fletcher Cox from the defense.
Which is huge, by the way. I think I want to cut you off real quick, but a lot of people said them losing Hassan Reddick wasn't a big deal. I think it's a big deal. He's a great player.
I guess
the Jets are going to benefit from that hugely.
Yeah, I think it is and it isn't. I think that like Fletcher Cox, I love Fletcher Cox, but also when you watch the Eagles, they fucking looked old. Like they need some fresh blood.
He's old, yeah.
He's old. Fletcher Cox was old. And so like in a way, I'm okay with it. Steak, I want to say that you're going to go back to the Eagles this year.
I think it's pretty well known that I am like low-key a Philadelphia Eagles supporter. I think if I lean on the side of Jalen Hurts being good, and overall, I think the Eagles are good. I guess I'm surprised that they were at 10.5 after the meltdown last year. I know they went 11-6, but bro, the way they finished the season was insane. And me and Style were at the playoff game in Tampa where they made Baker Mayfield look like Joe Montana. It was insane. Like you said, the secondary is horrible. I know they addressed it. And I know they picked up Saquon Barkley. I think that's the thing I'm most excited about. Because Shark Clark, I'm just a gambler, man. It's all about, I understand what you're saying. I'm just a gambler.
Yeah. You don't want to know
Eagles.
what BetStake has done that are anti-Vikings.
Yeah.
And usually cashes on.
I'll talk about the Vikings soon. But anyway, Saquon Barkley is a huge deal. I don't think like that many running backs left in the NFL are difference makers. I know that's kind of fucked up thing to say, but I think that's why you see all these cheap contracts for these running backs, because like a lot of these guys aren't difference makers. I feel like Saquon Barkley is one of the 5 running backs I can say that definitely is a difference maker. And then you put him with that Eagles offensive line and Jalen Hurts, and I just think really good things are going to happen.
Can you give me 3 difference makers real quick off the top of your head?
Running backs?
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, and Breece Hall.
Okay.
There's more though, because I think Jonathan Taylor is one as well.
Okay. Carry on.
I put Bijan up there.
Bij, I'm not. He will be, but I don't know what to. I'm not saying.
Yeah, not after year 1.
I'll put Gibbs up there.
All right.
They're both going to be up there for years, I'm sure. And Derrick Henry, I guess, still has to go up there too, and that might be it.
Who I don't know who Bryce Huff is. Is that who Phil's is saying is better than Reddick? Do you know who Bryce Huff is?
Yes.
Plays for Philly.
He's a backer for them, yeah.
I want to say
Well,
he's
I know
better,
that.
but he is good. He's nasty.
Yeah.
They did bring in Devin White though. You guys didn't talk about
see that. I'm looking at their
yeah.
depth chart right now. Now, let me tell you, as a Bucks fan, Devin White was incredible when we drafted him, and huge for whatever reason after the Super Bowl last year. Miserable season, miserable. That the way it kind of reminded me of I can't remember the other guy who was the Bucks linebacker who also left. Does anybody remember him too? He was on the Niners for a little bit.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about? I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. He was another linebacker that looked amazing and then just fucking fell off. And then he bounced around. He got injured. He tore his ACL. Anyways, we'll have to spend a lot of time on it, but I love their defense on paper. Absolutely love it. I don't know anything about Milton Williams. I'm good with the improvements. I like the coordinators. 10.5 over -130. I guess if you're going to go win total, you got to kind of look at the schedule. So let's see here. They start with the Packers, the Falcons at home, at the Saints, at the Bucks. You know what I don't like is they have an early bye. I hate teams that have an early bye. So then they have a bye in week 5.
Don't they play in Brazil? Game 1?
yes, that's where the Packers are. Yep.
Oh, that's where the Packers game is?
Yep.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Isn't that on
Okay.
a Friday night or something?
I don't know. I don't have the actual date.
Friday or Saturday
night.
Yeah. I'm good with the Eagles. Fat Girls, are you gonna be betting on the Eagles?
The way I decided I'm going to take the Eagles this year is I think preseason the only thing I'm going to take for the Eagles is Saquon props. I think I like Saquon this year, to be honest with you. I don't want to mess with the win total or division or anything. I might do something cheeky like last undefeated team, but the reality is, like, for me with this team, it's like if the coordinators are doing their job, like, this team is disgusting. Like, they addressed everything you wanted. Like, they have depth. They still have CJ Gardner-Johnson, Reed Blankenship, Slay is all right, Vontae Maddox. They drafted Cooper DeJean. So it's like if the coordinators are doing their job and that's not what Philly's bitching about, midseason week 4 or 5, I'll punch in a championship ticket. But that's all I'm going to do for the time being.
I want to be on record that having Cooper DeJean does not influence a bet for me on the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, I'm all good with him, and I think he was awesome at Iowa. But like watching him fall in the draft was not surprising to me. Seeing that translate from college to NFL, I'm not betting on it out of the gate by any means. And I could be way wrong, but cool story. I hope he's good in the NFL. I'm not seeing it and being like, oh yeah, they got to steal in the second round to help their secondary. I'm in.
Much more excited about Quinion Mitchell, to be clear.
Yes.
He's the reason why I'll be excited.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mitchell's a dog.
Like, Fletcher Cox still is a loss, but at the same time, like, you still have Jalen Carter, and he's not the sophomore slump I'm going to be targeting, and Jordan Davis. Like, they'll be fine. Fletcher Cox was getting old.
Brady did say it, man, and he just to get torched by CD, man. I'm not hating on him. I think he's a great corner. I'm even given that he's white, but I do think that there's some receivers in the league that will absolutely torch him. So
Yeah. The only thing I would like cause of concern is just obviously like Kelsey being gone, like first year starter for Cam Jurgens. I'm not too sure who that is. I'm not gonna act like I know who I do, and Tyler Steen at right guard. So no idea who those guys are. But like I said, if everything's rolling right, week 5, I'll take the championship ticket.
Cam Jurgens actually rings a bell. Where's Cam Jurgens from? He was picked by Philly in 2022, round 2, pick 51 from Nebraska. I mean, you got an offensive lineman from Nebraska. You're probably okay. My dark horse super pick is the Cardinal. Oh boy. Well, we'll get into that a little bit later. Late to the stream, DGen. I saw someone say 30 minutes. We've covered one team. Yeah, that's kind of on me. Sorry. But also, we were waiting for people to kind of trickle on in. So we'll pick up the tempo and pace a little bit. Cowboys. The Cowboys are, let's see, we've got Dallas here. I'm going down FanDuel. If anybody else wants to get lines up and give me an assist, that's fine.
I think they're 10.5 as well.
They are
10.5. Yeah.
I'm seeing 10.5, but the under is minus 180.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too.
Jeez Louise. This has got to be it's got to be Mike McCarthy's last shot. I would imagine that's not like groundbreaking news. You probably hear everybody say that. Sweat bets, yep. Dak on a contract year. It's going to be crazy. Wide receiver room is buns, and Zeke is an RB1 Dak attack. Here's what I hate about Zeke going back to the Cowboys. I hate when you let a star player go, and then you take him back in. I don't care if it's like you get him for pennies on the dollar. Kind of reminds me of the Magic. Hito left when Hito was the man, and then he like bounced around with the Raptors, Suns, whatever, and then we got Hito back. It's like, I don't know. Just accept that you fucking didn't want to ride with him till the end and move on. There's nothing about the Dallas Cowboys that excites me anymore. I've already gotten in on them. I think you and I were aligned a couple years ago. I had Dallas to win the fucking division the year that, I don't know if you guys remember this, but Carson Wentz, final game of the season in Philly, they were like depleted. I think they were missing like 10 starters. They had no receivers, and then the Eagles still beat them. I'm done with the Cowboys. I used to think 20-1 was always good value on them to win the Super Bowl. Done with them. Sick of them. Had CeeDee Lamb last year to have the most receiving yards. Felt like a good bet. It didn't win. I'm a big CeeDee Lamb guy. Liked him, obviously, coming out of Oklahoma. I think that the Cowboys are a team that can draft well. They addressed the offensive line. They had an offensive line. I just think Dak had his supporting cast to make a splash and win something. And the window, Steak, we talked about it in Cincinnati. Windows close quickly. I think it's done. Nothing about the Cowboys excites me. Steak, are you buying or selling the Cowboys this year?
I'm 100%.
Can I ask you guys a question first? Out of all the money Jerry Jones has shit out, why are you not re-signing CD already? Like, that's the concern for me with the Cowboys. Because he will sit out. CD will sit out. He gives me that vibe. I don't care what anybody says. He won't play week 1 if he doesn't have a contract.
I know me and you talked about this personally, Fat Girls.
Yeah.
I think he's getting the contract for sure. I don't know why they haven't done it already, but he's absolutely getting it.
Yeah, there's probably some talks of it that we don't know about, maybe solidifying it. But you're right. You're absolutely right.
So for me and the Cowboys, I am fading them. And I don't even know if this is obvious, but I'll just be super obvious. Zeke is RB1. I don't know what they did at all in the offseason to get better. They still have Mike McCarthy, which I think is insane. And I think it's insane. I saw someone say Jalen Tolbert breakout. I think they still have Brandon Cooks. It's just, I feel like they never do the right thing. And then I guess I'm trying to figure out how you have all this regular season success and you keep shitting the bed in the playoffs. This just feels like the year you don't get a full go from the Dallas Cowboys. Like, how do you keep showing up to win 13 games, 14 games in the regular season, to lose in the playoffs every year, and you keep expecting that to happen the next year? Like, I just think you're going to get a fucking sleepwalk, shitty year. I'm sure they'll put up their numbers. Like, CeeDee Lamb is my favorite to lead the league in receiving yards, and that's simply because there's no one else. Like, there's no one else. If Jalen Tolbert's going to be good, I'm going to need to see it. Brandon Cooks is washed. I mean, CD should get the most targets in the NFL by far. It can't be Justin Jefferson with the quarterback situation over there. Jordan Addison just got a DUI. I don't see it being Tyreek Hill again. And I don't know who else has a chance. I know a couple people say Jamar Chase. I kind of like that one, but I'm not gambling that way on Joe Burrow's health. I'm just, and they lost Tyron Smith too. Another good point by Sweat Bets. I just think that everything went wrong for the Cowboys. I think they could win. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go 9-8. Honestly, I really wouldn't. I would not be shocked.
So, stop. Before we get your thoughts, I just wanted to point something out. So I'll tell you right now, this coaching staff
It's bad.
It's all. Mike Zimmer is the defensive coordinator. Did you know that, Steak?
It really makes you scratch your head, bro.
No, you lagged. What'd you say?
Yeah.
Steak?
Me? I'm right here. Can
Yeah,
you
I
not hear
know.
me?
No, you lagged.
Yeah, you lagged.
What about now?
You lagged hard.
Yeah, you're
Feel
lagging.
better.
I'm lagging. Damn.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
all
you
right.
guys
I think
keep-
you're better now.
You guys
Anyways.
keep talking.
I asked because you were a former, or you're a Vikings fan, and he was obviously the head coach. This is one thing I hate about the NFL more so than anything is, and other leagues do this too, especially the NBA, just regurgitating the same fucking coaches. Like, just get some new blood in there. Give somebody else a shot. I don't even care if it's a defensive coordinator at like a Big Ten school. Mike Zimmer is defensive coordinator. Brian Schottenheimer. So you got a little bit of nepotism. You got old washed up coach as defensive coordinator, and then Mike McCarthy. I don't even know what this fucking guy is doing. Still coaching. I just don't. I don't care what the depth chart is, but I am looking at the depth chart. None of it really excites me.
Dude, I'll simplify the depth chart for you. Like, really, the only thing that happened is they brought in Eric Kendricks, Leighton is gone, and they brought in Zeke. That's about it. Like, there's no. It's the same shit with repeated coaches. Like, there's nothing that stands out there.
Jake Ferguson is fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jake Ferguson, Jalen Tolbert, fun.
coming off a career year. Do it again.
Yeah. Style, are you high or low on the Cowboys?
I'm definitely low on them. Obviously, just not only the fact, not just being an Eagles fan like Steak, man. I'm just a big sports fan in general. So, my feelings of Dallas just purely based on them being Dallas has nothing to do with my favorite teams and everything. I don't think they'll do good this year. I do think they did okay in the draft. Like you said, they addressed some things on their line, defensive line included. And they got a linebacker, right, from Notre Dame.
Yeah, he's actually pretty good. Marisli
I think that they need some pass rush help too. I mean, overall though, I can't, like you said, with the coaching staff and just in general, bro. I mean, even their off season was questionable. Some of the things they did. So I obviously wouldn't buy it at minus 180. I just think that doesn't make sense to me. But I could, like Steak said, I could see them going about 9-8 over the season.
Well,
maybe even less than that. Maybe not having a negative record this season. Who knows?
I was going to say, if you want to take them to be below 500, you could go alt under 8.5 on DraftKings at plus 205.
Really? Plus 205?
Yep.
That might be the play, honestly.
That's kind of.
Well, you got to keep in mind. They play the Saints at home. They play the Giants twice. They play the Commanders twice. Other than that, though, they play the Panthers at home. I mean, other than that, they got a really hard schedule, man.
Yeah.
Saints aren't to give me either. Saints aren't to give me.
Ravens, Lions, Niners, Eagles, Texans. Well, Eagles, obviously. Texans, Bucks, Bengals.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it is. It is very tough, but I can still see him going under. I like that under 8.5. I think it's just juicy for somebody who was on the down on the Dallas anyway.
Fat Girls, do you have any players on the Cowboys that you would fade or buy into?
Dude,
you can say no, by the way.
I don't even want to talk about them, honestly. I think like the only thing that was sitting in the back of my head is like Dak is on a contract here. Like maybe I'll get cute with his passing yards, like 5K plus on FanDuel or something, but I'm good, bro. I'm done with Dallas.
It's
Say
like
real quick, DJ.
Yeah.
Real quick. If my camera dies, I have another camera right here. I'll switch. It'll take me like 5 minutes. But
okay. All right. Cool. Good heads up. Last thing I want to say about the Cowboys, then we can move on. It does concern me a little bit of just teams like this and just kind of how sports work. I haven't heard anybody say a really good thing about the Cowboys.
Bro, here's the thing, though. This is exactly what I was about to say. This team can be 13-4 and get to the playoffs, and they're still just going to shit the bed. Like,
yeah, but that doesn't
surprised.
matter. That doesn't matter. I'm saying as buying in their over win total. What are you laughing at?
The Prime chirping style is so good.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Styles probably not familiar with Prime, and please just ignore him too. By the way, he's just a diehard Texas sports fan. So anytime you chirp the Texas sports teams, he's just going to say stupid things. So, but I will say this: if you think like, oh, the Cowboys are just going to go 13-4 and then do nothing in the playoffs, that's fine. But then you should probably talk about betting their over win total. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if they went over. Do I have a care to try and figure out if they're going to go over or under? I don't. Like Zeke doesn't move the needle for me, bro. None of their coaching staffs moves it for me. Like I'm good.
Okay.
I just want to say, because I lagged when you asked me, deciding that Mike McCarthy needed Mike Zimmer is fucking hilarious.
It's crazy.
It's so funny, dude. Like, come on.
It's crazy. I think for that reason alone, I mean, that's how simple it is sometimes, guys. I've told you this before. I give you 2 examples. Listening to Matt Patricia interview on Pardon My Take, I faded the Lions. Listening to or not betting on the Saints because at the end of the day, do you really want to put your money into Dennis Allen for 17 games? It can be at the end of the day that simple to just focus on the head coaches. I don't want to bet on Mike Zimmer coming out of fucking nowhere and having to reviving the Dallas defense. No, thank you. Anyways, well, not reviving them. They were just fine before. Let's move on to the New York Giants. We'll end it with the Commanders because that might be a fun team. So let's get this this discussion out of the way. I'm not a Giants guy, and it's really nothing personal about the New York Giants. It's more so I'm just really not a Daniel Jones believer, and I think he was a bad draft pick to begin with. Have not liked the coaches they've hired in the past. Totally fine with Daboll. Like some of the talent they brought in. Love Neighbors, obviously. I like what they're doing on defense. So there's things that the Giants are doing that I'm cool with. I didn't even mind trying Waller, although he seems to have maybe lost his mind. I'm not going to talk about that because I'm not super.
He's retired.
Did he officially retire?
I think so, yeah.
All right, so he did lose his mind. Who is the Giants' tight end? I don't know. I'm going to pull up their draft or their depth chart right now. But at the end of the day,
I only have one name coming to mind, and I know it's wrong.
It's not Jeremy Shockey. I know that.
Daniel Bellinger is the name that popped in
my mind. Oh, my God, dude.
Are you being serious? Daniel
That's the name that popped in my mind. I have no idea who the tight end is.
It might be.
That makes me think of Daniel Bedingfield. I don't know if you know that song, but off the top of your head, you probably don't. Somebody in the chat does. God, there's a lot of fucking teams that have the letter N to start with. So, all right, here we go. Mike Kafka, second-year offensive coordinator. Shane Bowen, new defensive coordinator from the Tennessee Titans, and Daboll in his second year. Win total is 6.5. They were 6-11 last year, last in the division. Let's see, they acquired or signed Brian Burns. That's a big one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They have Drew Lock. It's about. I'm just kidding. They drafted Neighbors, a safety, Tyler Nubin from Minnesota. Don't know who that is. Don't know who anyone else is that they drafted. The other big signing was Joe Runyon Jr., the left guard. So I guess they did address their offensive line, which was
Devin Singletary, right? Didn't they get him?
Yep, and Devin Singletary. So Singletary looks like he's going to be the starting running back. Bellinger is going to be the starting tight end, and then their wide receiver room is Wendell Robinson, Darius Slayton, Malik. Yeah, this team. No, I'm hard out on the New York Giants. I don't know that I really want to fade them though, but I don't.
Defense is good, dude. Their defense is actually good.
What was
I
the win
think they're
total?
gonna have a good defense.
I missed it.
No, you're good. It's at 6.5, although I did not say the juice. 6.5. The under is -135. I think we had a pretty good read on him last year. I didn't actually directly fade him, but we did an NFL space, and we had a couple people come in there, and they were like, I don't know why you guys are so down on the Giants, blah, blah, blah. And we were really going off of the number, too. The number was really telling, I thought. People were kind of sneaky high on the Giants. I'm a hard out. If you guys have anything that you can get me over the hump with or over the fence to get with on, feel
Billy
free.
Dagger's comment's good.
Oh, I missed it. Thank you very much for keeping eyes on that. Kayvon Thibodeau to lead the league in sacks 75-1. He said he's going for Strahan's sack record, plus defense will be on field a lot. Like that a lot. I had as my POD one game in primetime. I don't know if you guys remember Thibodeau's sack, which he hit because he was on like a really bad stretch. I'm a Thibodeau fan. Love that Brian Burns is going to be on there now. Yup. Big Brian Burns guy. I've bet on him to lead the league in sacks. Hasn't hit, but a big fan of his. I'm good. Good on that.
Is that the best duo in the league?
I think they have the best D-line in the league. You're forgetting about Sexy Duxie, too.
Oh, yeah. We are forgetting about
They
Sexy
do got a good
Duxie.
D-line.
Let's switch up the blunt rotation. Fat girls, do you like the Giants? I don't know why. You're like,
I really am getting
twirling
there.
your chin hair like you might.
No, I'm getting there. I'm not going to lie. I mean, one play I already know I'm going to take, and like it's a little contrary. I mean, it is contrarian. I'm taking Malik Neighbors over yards. His price is discounted just because Daniel Jones is his quarterback, and I'm just going to leave it at that. But like as a team as a whole, I mean, nobody likes the Giants just because nobody likes Daniel Jones. But at the end of the day, like their defense could be top 10. Like I wouldn't be surprised. Like they have a strong 3 on the defensive front, and like that was their plan. Like our secondary is not the greatest, probably Deontay Banks back there, and I can't really name anyone else. But like their defensive line is fucking good. It could win them a couple games. Like 7 games is not crazy to ask for with a top 10 defense. And if Daniel Jones is just competent, like whatever that means, they can win 7 games. I'm getting really close to it. I'm not going to lie.
Wow. Okay. Stake your bob in your head.
Getting kind of close to it too, just because I think the defensive line is so good that I think you'll actually need less than you think from Daniel Jones. So I'm not saying I'm taking it, but would I be shocked if the Giants won 7 or 8 games? I really wouldn't. Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau is a disgusting duo. And I am high on Malik Neighbors as well, but I'm not high on Daniel Jones. I can't get there with Daniel Jones. And I also will want to throw out that I could see Malik Neighbors fucking popping off if he's not getting the ball.
Dude, I'm telling you, if Daniel Jones wasn't his quarterback, he would be up there with Marvin, like at the 1,000 mark for year 1. Like he's at 850 right now.
Yeah, I 100% agree and believe that.
So
Stop.
I don't know.
I know it's a foe of yours being an Eagles fan. Is there anything about the Giants that excite you?
I mean, State kind of said it, man. I don't want to talk about the Giants too much on that, but yeah, I mean, their defense does look good, and I do think it's going to enable them to win games. I saw that comment you posted. It's funny, the Iowa, the NFL.
Yeah, yeah,
for sure, man. Like I think
Iowa wins games.
You definitely get that done. He's going to jump.
What about an under for an offensive player? Maybe Devin Singletary under or something like that. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, it depends, but I could probably get behind that too, honestly.
A sneaky red zone target. Just I could be wrong here, and then this is the last thing we'll talk about. The Giants. We'll move on. Could be Bellinger, right? I mean, these guys, these receivers for the Giants. I don't know that any of them are like big red zone guys. Are they?
The thing is, like, if you look at the Giants, like, receiving depth chart, it's, like, really not that bad. It's just Daniel Jones that is bad. Like, they still got Wan'Dale Robinson, who, like, struggles to stay healthy. He's still good. Jalen Hyatt had flashes. And, like if you saw the interview process with Neighbors, they asked him a couple questions, and I'm sure a couple of you guys have watched Hard Knocks. They were like, how do you handle not being involved in the game plan early? And he was straight out blunt about it. He was like, I want the ball. And Dable's like, good. That's what I fucking want. How do you handle losing? He's like, I don't like losing. And it's just like they brought in Neighbors to be that guy. I'm not saying that episode fully steered me into buying in, but it's like I don't think anybody in the world wants to buy into Malik Neighbors or anything Giants related, truthfully. So one thing I did forget to mention, though, when we were talking about the Eagles, I don't care how square it is, how many times I see it on Twitter, Saquon Barkley, 3+ touchdowns will be locked in both times he plays the fucking Giants, because as much as everybody said they left on good terms, they did not, bro. Saquon was butthurt. The Giants organization didn't want to pay him. Saquon is going to do demonic things to the city.
I'm not taking a Eagles running back to score 3 touchdowns in a game with Jalen Hurts. I'm just not. But I'm good with the narrative.
They brought him in to protect Hurts, bro. Whatever it is, like he's going to get force fed when they play him.
All right, let's finish up. Let's finish up with the Commanders. Dan Quinn, new head coach. He was a Cowboys defensive coordinator. If anybody wasn't familiar, Cliff Kingsbury, new offensive coordinator, and Joe Witt. I don't really know where he is from. He's the defensive coordinator. So they were 4-13 last year, win total 6.5. We know that they got Jaden Daniels in the first round. Also got a defensive tackle, Jerzon Newton. Not really too familiar with anybody else in their draft. Biggest signing, a couple of edge guys, Dorrance, Robin Armstrong, Frankie Louvu. Ooh, I like Frankie Louvu.
Mm-hmm.
I like Frankie Louvu.
Austin Eckler.
Yep. Austin Eckler. Jeremy Chin. Ooh, Marcus Mariota, Bobby Wagner. Okay, Wagner's a good veteran guy for the defense.
Zach Ertz. I think they got Zach Ertz.
Oh, maybe they got him last year then. Clellan Ferrell, which is hilarious. Never forget when the Raiders drafted him like 4th overall. I'm a Jane Daniels guy. Had him to win the Heisman last year. That was more of a fit thing, less of a like talent thing. Not sold on his throwing ability, but obviously the threat with the legs is a big deal. Cliff Kingsbury, first-year offensive coordinator. I'm sure the guy can probably figure out a way to make him pretty exciting and a special player. Does it happen year one? Not necessarily sure, but can they win 7 games? I mean, they're going to have a softer schedule. You've got the Panthers at home. You've got the Titans at home. You have the Giants twice. They do play the NFC South. I mean, it's not the easiest schedule, that's for sure. So I don't know. Steak, I'm going to start with you because I feel like you've already kind of hinted at the fact that you like the Commanders.
I actually love the Commanders.
Wow.
Yeah, I really do. And I'm going to try to give the best example I have. So 2 years ago, I feel like the Rams had one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Going into last year, it was like, yeah, they still have Matt Stafford and they still have Cooper Kupp, but that defense is so awful. And there's just no way they're going to win games. I think their win total was like 6.5 or 7.5 for the Rams last year. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
And we all liked them. I think the reason we liked them was because of the offensive weapons we had. We also thought that a unit being disrespected that much might show up, especially with Raheem Morris at DC. The reason I'm talking about this is because everybody's talking about how bad the Washington Commanders offensive line is. It's all you hear when you talk about the Commanders. Oh, Sam Howell was actually decent, man. That offensive line was just so bad. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think it's good, but I think when there's that much focus in an offseason about how horrible you are, it's similar to the Rams defense last year. I think the offensive line is going to play better than expected. And that's why I think you get 7-8 wins out of this team, because I am a Jaden Daniels believer. I think Austin Eckler is a really good signing for a rookie quarterback because he can catch a shit ton of passes. So you always got the check down option. And I think Terry McLaurin is one of the most underrated wide receivers in the NFL. So, and I don't think
right there, dude.
I like the defense signings. So I like the Commanders over 6.5. I think I'm going to hammer it.
Wow, it's minus 130 right now over on DraftKings. Yeah, speaking of that wide receiver, or let's just say the weapons for Daniels, they have McCaffrey, the rookie.
Yeah.
Oh, Luke McCaffrey?
Luke
yeah,
McCaffrey.
Luke McCaffrey. Tinsley.
Who's Tinsley? I don't see Tinsley. Zach Ertz, Jahan Dotson. Who's Tinsley?
Yep. I don't know.
And then, like he said, McLaurin.
Yep.
Mitchell Tinsley.
Mitchell Tinsley. I don't know who the fuck that guy is. Eckler and Brian Robinson. I like the weapons. Defense looks good on paper. Love Frankie Louvu. I like the veteran aspect of Bobby Wagner on the team. I am a huge Jeremy Chin guy. Big reason I would have ever invested in the Panthers last year is because of their defense. So start a petition for Brian. Okay, yeah, I can't do that. I'll bet on DGen in a race versus Eckler. Yeah. He's not very, also, you know what I don't like about Eckler? He might be a little too soft. And here's what I'll say. I've been to that stadium. I've been to FedEx Field. And I've been to DC, obviously. It's not a place for a soft athlete. I don't know that a California guy is really going to mesh in well. So I'm just telling you right now, I watched this documentary about like this cult on TikTok. And at the very end, I saw Portnoy tweeted about this. It was kind of a huge twist where Eckler was married to like the girl's sister who got swallowed up by the cult. It was kind of funny, but it's also so fitting that Austin Eckler would be married to a chick that became famous by dancing on TikTok. What I'm getting at here is this. I don't like the fit. Yeah, he can catch balls. Yeah, he's athletic. I don't like the Austin Eckler fit, but I like a lot of other things. Eckler is not moving the needle for me. I like what I'm seeing on the defense. I'm good with the weapons. I can get behind it. Style, do you have any reason to get down with the Washington Commanders?
I mean, yeah. I know we're going after Steak, but I think that Jaden throwing to McLaurin could be really good this season.
So something McLaurin related prop wise, potentially.
Oh, I'm not sure what his odds are. I could check it out, but yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to take his over for sure, whatever his receiving yards are. I think he's going to be a weapon this year. And like you said, I think he was underrated. I think he was underrated when Sam Howell was throwing to him. So,
yeah.
Before that, it was Tyler Heineke. It's always somebody trash throwing to Terry McLaurin.
That is true.
Did everybody hate Heineke or no? Did you? I like him too.
I like him as a backup.
Cam is money sighting, by the way. Sub bank 21 months. Good to see you in here, Cam is money. Fat Girls, you on the Commanders to finish off the NFC?
I mean, I like the Giants more, so I'm not going to buy into the Commanders. But the only thing I will be doing is Eckler under 435 rushing yards. I just think if Eckler's in the game, he's going to be a simple third down back for them, maybe some pass pro. I just don't see Eckler being involved in this offense. Like if they're going to be running, it's B-Rob or Jaden Daniels taking off, and like 435 for him already feels like kind of low as is, but it makes sense. But I'm just going to fade Eckler.
Tailing you on fading Eckler.
I'm okay with you guys fading his rushing because I think Brian Robinson is also incredibly underrated. But I don't think you should do the receiving yards because I still think Eckler's going to catch the ball.
Exactly.
Commanders +4 week 1 will feed families. They are playing
The Bucks.
the Bucks.
Let's go, CV. Let's lock that in now, dude.
Interesting. Okay. Let's go to the NFC North next, and where we've got the old let's see, we've got the Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings. Let's start with the trendy Lions. Why do you got that face?
I'm just scared to talk about them.
I'm scared as shit, dude.
Well, yeah, I mean, I love the Lions. Last year, I loved the Lions. Jake stole my bitch. We talked about it at length. I won't go down that road again. Listen, I think it's a team that's just been trending up, and they're going to continue to trend up. The only bet I have right now is Jared Goff MVP 40-1. Here's the problem. I'll tell you the problem. I have listened to VSiN. I've heard some people talk about some bets and some Super Bowl picks. Everybody is on board the Detroit Lions train. That bus is getting really, really full, and it's scaring me. Win total 10.5 over -135. At the end of the day, though, Matt Stafford went to the Rams. People like him in the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl. Brady went to the Bucks. People like the Bucks win the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl. This shit can happen. You know what I mean? So it's not going to keep me off of it. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to play it. I'm trying to figure out how I want to play the Detroit Lions. I don't know what I'm going to do. Let's hear what you guys have. Kyle, we'll switch it up. Do you like the Lions this year? And I know I haven't really set the stage in terms of their coaching staff and whatnot, but I will do that. I'm just trying to.
What was their win over wins?
10.5, and the over is -130. So they're projected to go 11-6. And wait, here, let me do this before you start talking. I have it up right now. The Lions last year were 12-5. They've got Campbell back. Obviously, it's 3 years there. Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator, and then Ben Johnson, which I'm sure most people will tell you the obvious. Great fucking young offensive coordinator. Love him. Love the play calling, the designs, everything. He came back. He was a hot commodity in the offseason. So they got the same coaching staff in the draft. Ryan Arnold, defensive back from Alabama, and then they signed Carlton Davis. Or no, they traded for Carlton Davis from the Bucks. I can touch on that a little bit later. They got Marcus Davenport, edge from the Saints. DJ Reader, who is a bad motherfucker, interior defensive line. And then with the depth chart, still Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta, David Montgomery with Gibbs. And the problem there is the defense, which they addressed a little bit. Are you in or out on the Lions? Or let me ask you this. Do you love them as much as everybody else loves them? Stop.
Yeah, so I'll take on that. I definitely think that I'm a little public on this one too, because I do think the Detroit Lions will do great things this season. Me and Steak actually talked about this a little bit on the offseason, how their main problem was they can't stop the score. They can't stop. Their secondary is bad. They can't stop teams from scoring. They have no problem getting up the field and scoring. They do have weapons. I do think they have one of the best tight ends in the league. I think that them fixing, like you mentioned, getting that guy from Alabama, and I think they got another corner from didn't they? Missouri? They got another defensive back.
Yeah, and it's Rakestraw Jr. from Missouri.
Yeah, so I think with the additions, them being able to slow down the pass, that was, in my opinion, was their biggest flaw, was they couldn't stop the pass. I think they'll do good, man, and I don't want to, sound too public-y here, but I do think that they'll hit their over-win total, and they'll do good in the playoffs too. So,
okay, they do have an early
bye. They win this division too.
They do have an early bye. Yeah, if anybody wants to pull up the division winner odds, I'd be curious to know what they are. Early bye, the first 4 games: home against the Rams, home against the Bucks, at the Cardinals, home against the Seahawks. So I mean, this is like Michigan football. Michigan football gets fucking 4 bye weeks. I'm not saying they're bye weeks, but 4 of the easiest games to start the year at home. I know you're making that face, Steak, but they get harder opponents as the year goes on. Fat Girls, in or out on the Lions? I feel like you're going to try to be contrarian here and tell me something bad about them.
I'm not going to be in it, but there's a couple red flags in there for sure, for me at least. But to start off with the good, the first 14 to 15 games for the Lions are indoor games. Goff has extreme splits with playing home and away. Obviously a lot better at home and a lot better indoors, so that helps them. But at the end of the day, it's in chat, their defense is really fucking good. I still like Kirby Joseph. Branch is a dog. They have a bunch of guys on there, but the thing that scares me the most is You have 3 sophomores on their offense: Gibbs, Laporta, who obviously went crazy last year, and JMO that probably is going to have a breakout year. But like a Goff blow up kind of scares me. Like 4,500 yards last year, second in the league. Like, are you expecting Goff to be that good again? Like, he doesn't even need to be like insane for that team to be good. But I just think Goff, little regression. And yeah, JMO's not a sophomore, all the injury stuff, but I don't know. I'm a little worried about Goff.
A little worried about Goff. Okay. Steak, are you worried about Goff?
Yeah, I'm not worried about Goff. No, not at all. I'm worried about the Lions, and it's strictly contrarian. I want to say that this is like, honestly, even more so than the Texans. I think this is the trendiest team of the year. Like, I don't know anybody who doesn't like the Lions. I don't know anybody who doesn't think they're making the playoffs. In my opinion, their make the playoffs price is kind of low, especially when you consider that the NFC is considered to be fairly weak. I just, bro, everything points to the Lions being better than last year. They fixed a couple secondary issues by what's the kid? That's Terrion Arnold, right? The kid, I confuse him and the kid from Toledo. They got
they got Arnold, the guy from Alabama,
and he's a dog too. They needed secondary help, like Styles said. Jameer Gibbs is only going to get better. Amon-Ra should only get better. They gave Goff his money. He doesn't play outside that much. It's like, bro, I can't believe it's that easy, unfortunately. And this is my one point I want to make. You know, Super Bowl hangovers, right? Everyone talks about Super Bowl hangovers. I think the Lions will be a team that will experience the closest thing to a Super Bowl hangover without getting to the Super Bowl. Because last year felt like a Super Bowl for Detroit. They won 2 home playoff games, and they absolutely were 1 4th down away from going to the Super Bowl. 1 4th down conversion, and the Lions were going to the Super Bowl. They should have won the game. They should have been in the Super Bowl. And when you're the Detroit Lions, that feels like, I mean, as close as you've gotten in literally forever. I just don't know, man. I just watched the show Receiver on Netflix, and everything about Detroit is cool. Everything about the fans are cool. You had Amon-Ra's dad, somebody standing behind him saying, yeah, this is the loudest stadium I've ever heard, which I had never heard that about Detroit before. And they lost no one. I just don't know it can be that easy. So I have a lot of fear about the Detroit Lions this year.
Can I ask you a question though? What makes you think they're due for regression in the sense of like their roster and not Goff? Because like the reason I think they could take a step back is because of Goff. Like their roster is way too fucking good, bro. Like top to bottom, even if Goff isn't fully locked in, like he doesn't need to be what he did last year to get back to the NFC Championship because their roster is that fucking good. And we talked about this.
It's not specifically to answer your question that I don't like the Lions and I do like Goff. I just wouldn't directly fade Jared Goff. That's all I'm saying. He wouldn't be like, I'm not going to fade the Lions. Honestly, I don't want to fade the Lions. I want them to fucking go to the Super Bowl. I think that would be awesome. Yeah, I know, Phils, but I got to be honest. I can't sit here and lie to everyone. That's just, I have my fears. And I also, we're going to talk about it. I really like the Packers and I really like the Bears. So I'll wait till we get there. But
okay, well, let's get there. I do like the Lions. I can't help it. It's the way I am. Everybody likes them. I have not heard one person say a bad thing about them. It's rarely that easy. Sometimes it is. I'm going to bet on something else for Detroit. I don't know what I'm going to do. We'll figure it out later. All right, let's talk about the Chicago Bears. Fat Girls, this is your team, so we'll start with you, then we'll go to Style. You've got Eberflus year 2, or 2 years, sorry. Wait, was last year his first year? Can't remember. No, maybe he's been there 2 years.
No, he's been there.
You got a new offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, and you have a new defensive coordinator, Eric Washington. He was from Buffalo. The Bears win total here is 8.5. I mean, I guess that sounds like a fair number considering all the acquisitions and the hiring. Or I'm sorry, and the draft that the Bears had. Let's see, 8.5, and the over is -165. Goodness gracious. I feel like you don't see that very often with a rookie QB, but Caleb Williams is special. You got Odunze as well. And then they got Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, Gerald Everett, Kevin Byard, safety from the Eagles. I think the Titans traded him to the Eagles in season, and that didn't really do much. I know how Steak feels about the Bears. I don't know how you guys feel. I'm apprehensive on going all in. I am definitely a Caleb Williams guy in terms of talent. I think he's going to be great. I think he's set up to be successful. I love the city of Chicago. I'm good with Bears fans. I want them to have some success. I'm excited about this division. I want a lot of I don't know how the Vikings are going to be. We'll talk about that, obviously. But I think football is better when, like, the rivalries of the Packers and Bears mean something. And it would be fun for these teams to be good along with the Detroit Lions. I don't know that I can get there on 8.5 and -165. I just don't. So I'll let you talk a little bit more about how you feel about the Bears this year. What do you think?
Dude, this is the first time since I've had a driver's license, bro. I couldn't get training camp tickets for all fucking 3 days, dude. I got one for Thursday. The rest of them, these guys are fucking scumbags in Chicago, bro. They reserve the tickets and they go and post them on Ticketmaster for $120. I thought I just had to add that because people are fucking douchebags. But, bro, I'm not gonna act like I'm invested. Like, I'm ready to go. But at the end of the day, like, I don't see what, some people in the chat may see for the Bears, like if they're public or not, just because I don't see that side of Twitter. I'm not going to act like I do, but I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Packers, and that scares me. But at the end of the day, like, the Bears defense will be a lot better, and I think people don't acknowledge that. Like, Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards, like, one of the best linebacking core in the league. Kevin Byard does not intrigue me. I think our safeties are fucking going to be pretty bad. Kevin Byard, you saw what he did in Philly, and Jaquan Brisker, like, kind of just gets hurt every other play. But Jalen Johnson, I love. Tyreek Stevenson had a big step up. So I don't know, man. The only thing I want to add, just because, like, I don't want my bias to get in the way, a head coach record of 10-24 leads the coach of the year odds. I just think under any circumstance, and I understand the hype in the offseason that they had, is fucking terrorism, dude. Like, plus 900 for a head coach record, or for the head coach with a record of 10-24. Yeah. That is absurd. That's crazy.
That's a good point. It's a good observation. They were 7-10
they're also
last year.
-130 to make the playoffs. But yeah, go ahead.
All right, Style, are you in on the Bears? And are there any players? I guess they got DJ Moore. They got him have. I don't know who to choose from. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, and Odunze, Cole Kmet.
I know. It's like, where do you start, right?
Yeah.
Who do you choose on that? I mean, you said it best, man. And Fat Girls is obviously all over it. I don't want to be the guy to fade them or say this is, all hype and everything. So I kind of have a stay away on this one. I'm really just interested in seeing how this rides out, to be honest with you. Like like you said, they got a bunch of new talent, man. Caleb Williams, obviously said, is a dog. I do think that they'll run into some issues, whether it be in, obviously rookie quarterback, maybe some chemistry issues. But once they find that wide receiver one, or they find the guy that, his go-to target, could be DJ Moore. Could even be a Dunze, who knows? But I am going to back them on them doing what everybody thinks they're going to do, making the playoffs, advancing and possibly having a winning record. But as far as like me putting any money on them, I'm probably going to have a stay away on this. Like, this is probably just one I don't want to touch. Just kind of watch it as a fan and see how it rides out.
I like the stay away move, and I'm with you on that. I'm staying away. Steak's fucking licking his chops over there.
Not staying away.
Is this your team, Steak? Is this your Hammer team?
This is one of my teams that I absolutely love. I want to be clear. Before I knew the situation or the team he was going to, I already loved Caleb Williams. I think he's going to be an absolute superstar in the NFL. Then you toss him here with Keenan Allen. They drafted a receiver in the first round. I can't remember the last time. Well, no, I lied. I can remember the last time my team did that, but getting Caleb Williams and a receiver in the first round is fucking incredible. You still have DJ Moore. Cole Kmet made a huge step last year. DeAndre Swift, I think, is awesome. Feel how you want. And then I got to say, Snacks, I heard you say Bears are public. I don't feel that way, man. Ever since, like, the draft, I feel like people don't like Caleb Williams at all. And I'll be honest with you, I don't care that he cried to his mom, and I don't care that his pinky is black, nail polish or whatever the fuck. That shit doesn't matter when week one gets here, and he's a fucking baller. And I don't know, man. I don't see. Okay, this is why I want to talk about the Matt Eberflus thing. Andy Reid used to be considered a guy who couldn't win the big game. I know he was never 10-24 and as bad as Matt Eberflus is considered, but superstar quarterbacks, getting your guy, they change the narrative on people's careers. And I think everything changes for the Chicago Bears this year. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I absolutely believe Eberflus will have a shot at Coach of the Year. And I think Caleb Williams is an absolute lock, shoe-in lock for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And I'm hammering their team total over, and I like them to make the playoffs. I think they're going to go kind of crazy.
All right, so real quick, I want to just address what Stacks said. I don't get Steak at times. He's a contrarian, but not at all.
See, this
So
is the
Steak-
thing too. I was talking with Steak. He was like, they're not public at all. People don't like them.
I don't think they're very public. I think maybe a little like 60-40, but they're not lopsided. But Steak will pick his spots because on that note, when we bought into USC, when Caleb Williams went there, you hammered Caleb Williams to win the Heisman. You took the Boston Celtics win the championship. I think you had UConn. Like
I had Michigan. Who the fuck?
Yeah, you had
was the
fucking
most
Michigan.
public team ever.
Yeah, exactly. So there are times when Steak, yes, he'll be contrarian and he'll bet the White Sox 15 games in a row. He'll still pick up pick times to square up, and those usually I would think not to fucking kiss your ass, but they tend to hit more often than they don't. So that's why I'm with Style. I'm down to stay away, just kind of sit and watch. And if I miss the boat, if the Bears end up being as good as people as their like ceiling, I'm okay just watching and being like, wow, I'm impressed.
Exactly.
All right, let's talk about the Packers. Was my what's that?
Oh no, I'm excited about the Packers.
Yeah, I am too. I think this is probably going to be the best banter going around because I don't know if you guys are going to like what I have to say. The Packers were my favorite play last year. I was over their 7.5 win total, my largest win total bet of the season, which wasn't that big. It was 3 units. But at the end of the day, I'll tell you this: it hit. But I really don't think it was that great of a bet because my reason behind betting on the Packers was I liked their roster on defense. I really thought their defense was going to keep them in games. And we pointed this out, but I thought that the odds market showed a lot of respect for Jordan Love in the MVP market, and he would kind of come on and do enough. He'd been in the NFL for a little bit, waiting and watching, so it wasn't like a true rookie being thrown in there. I think we saw a lot towards the end of the season of what we expected the Packers to be, but there was so much in between that I was so disappointed on. Joe Barry, their defensive coordinator, I don't think he's still there. I think he was fired. But their defense was atrocious. They went to the playoffs. They made some noise. I think this is not the Bears. The Packers are the trendy team. I think a lot of people like the Packers. And I am here to tell you, I think everybody is going to be a year late on trying to get involved with the Packers. And I think I'm going to be sitting there. I'm not a big told you so guy because I'm wrong a lot. I don't like when people tell me told you so. But I'm going to be like that Simpsons cartoon and go, ha, ha. You know why? Because fuck LaFleur, dude. I'm sick of LaFleur. And I'm sick of all these fucking Packers fans talking about how they have stock and ownership in the team and this and that. And now they're all excited. They won a playoff game. They almost beat the Niners. And now they think they're on to the Super Bowl. Not so fast. I think the Bears are going to give them some trouble. The Lions are going to still whoop that ass. Dan Campbell is ingrained it in Detroit to beat the Green Bay Packers. I fucking love it. So I'm not on the Packers this year. Am I fading them? Absolutely not. But I'm not on the Packers this year. Steak, since you're going to be a Packers guy, let's start with you, and then we'll go Style and Fat Girls.
I'm not going to be a Packers guy fully because I don't love the defense, like you said.
Well, and sorry to cut you off. If you're going all in on the Bears, you can't really pick 2 teams to go heavy on in the same division, right?
Not without fading the Lions, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. Okay, sorry, continue.
I just think Jordan Love is that guy. I think he's that guy, and I think there's no organization as a fan luckier than getting to go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. And I think you might be right about LaFleur, but I think it's not going to matter because he went from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. And just what I saw at the end of the year, or actually the whole entire second half of the year, Jordan Love looks like a guy who took a giant leap, probably this year going into a top 5 quarterback in the league. I don't think that's that crazy to say. So there's no shot in hell I'm fading the Packers because I think Jordan Love is the fucking truth. And, bro, the weapons are crazy. Like the young receivers, Dontavian Wicks, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Musgrave, and what's it? Those are crazy. And they're all under like 25 years old. Like, I don't know how you fade that offense. I think they're going to go fucking nuts. And I would not be surprised at all if they won the division.
Style just got up. I was going to go to him next. But real quick, sick of LaFleur, but backing Eberflus. Fake news, Snacks. I'm not backing Eberflus. Please pay attention. Thank you. Love thrived in 2023 despite not being prototypical wide receiver 1 and has a deep collection of young wide receivers on his final Oh, I didn't know that. Cam says steak spin. Yeah, Cam is a big Jordan Love better. Maybe my best prop bet of the year last year, by the way. Jordan Love over touchdown passes. I think I cashed in like fucking week 13. He is I don't want to fade him. I want to be very clear. I don't want to fade him. I'm good with anything like Jordan Love backing, but as a team, Matt LaFleur still scares me. By the way, new defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley from Boston College.
Yeah, he was the head coach.
And Adam Stenovich is the offensive coordinator, but I believe we all know that LaFleur calls plays. 5 years being a head coach. They got Josh Jacobs, Xavier McKinney, and their draft picks Jordan Morgan out of Arizona, offensive lineman. And then they had 2 second-round picks, Javon Bullard, safety from Georgia, Edgerrin Cooper, linebacker from Texas. I will wait for Style to figure out his camera.
I can go for Style if you want.
Okay,
I'll be quick. If I wasn't a Bears fan, I would be investing in the Packers, dude. I don't understand how you think their defense sucks. Like, I don't know any of their coordinators. I'm not going to act like I do, but their defense is fucking good.
It wasn't good.
I say we don't think they suck. I think we think they underperformed.
Fair. But, like, if you're, like, you guys, strict contrarian bettors looking on the outside end, you already said VSiN loves the Lions, and it seems like everybody wants to buy into the Bears. I don't feel like anybody's talking about the Packers. And
Wrong.
This roster is good. Where do you see people talking about the Packers?
I don't agree with you there. Also, can I say one thing? Just since you said, I'm not a strict contrarian bettor. I want to be very clear on that. I like going public with
at heart. At heart.
At heart for sure. But when we talk about the AFC, you're going to be surprised at the teams I like. I definitely do not think Packers are contrarian. I think people are really, really excited about the Packers.
I don't know.
The Green Bay Packers defense allowed Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers to score 30 points.
Joe Barry.
They allowed Baker Mayfield to have one of the best games a quarterback has ever played in Lambeau Field. I don't know if you remember that. I do, because I bet on the Packers in that game. I don't know. And then as soon as I started fading them directly, I think I started taking the opposing team's team total. The Vikings the very next week. That wasn't good. They scored 10 points. And then Joe Barry started to play much better. Packers, Bears, Lions getting started. Vikings bettors already put them last in the division. Already bricked up for when Steak talks about the Colts. I got a feeling. So, Styles back. All right, Style. You're good. This is probably just a different camera, but you look fine. All right, so just to recap you.
Yeah. Can everybody hear me?
I'm not in on the Packers this year. Steak is a soft yes. Fat Girl says if he wasn't a Bears fan, he'd be all over him. Where are you at with the Packers?
I'm on him, man. Me and Steak talked about him a lot last season, and I'm not saying it in a way of where I disagree with what you guys are saying, because I understand why you could possibly not want to. You said you don't want to take him, but you're not fading, right, DJ?
I don't want to. I would fade them if anything, but I'm not going to.
I just think it's a young team, man, that's growing, and they're growing expeditiously, man. You got Wicks, Reed, Christian Watson, dude. They've got weapons, man. They definitely got weapons, and I think their O-line is decent
kind
too.
Of a bitch.
What?
He's hurt all the time.
Yeah, for sure, but there's an insane potential there.
What's that guy's name? That
Jaden Reed.
I forgot who was it. No.
Dobbs.
Melton. Bo Melton.
Oh, Melton.
Oh, Melton.
I remember the legacy Melton game.
He was hitting all of his props. Until when it was brought to my attention. So yeah, man, I'm pretty backing them this year. I'm not saying that they're going to go crazy or anything, but I do think they hit their win total. And I honestly could get behind some of the receivers over passing yards too. So
okay. Packers. Did I even say what the Packers win total was? I don't even know.
Is it 9.5?
It is 9.5, and the over is -135. All right, let's wrap it up in this division, and let's talk about the Vikings. I don't. You're doing a deep exhale, inhale, exhale. I'm not going to get there with the Vikings. I had their over win total last year. Obviously, it's whatever because Kirk Cousins was playing out of his mind, and then he got hurt. Sam Darnold, JJ McCarthy. I'm good with Darnold. I am not a JJ McCarthy guy at all. Good with Kevin O'Connell. Don't mind the head coaching staff. Like the guy, like the pieces. Think they've drafted well. I think they put a good team together. I'm not betting against the Minnesota Vikings. Their win total is 6.5. They're probably going to be bad. Are they going to be that bad? Can they not go 7-10? I don't know. JJ, they also got Dallas Turner, defensive end from Alabama. Kyrie
Defensive
Jackson.
Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
That's going to be the bright spot. He's going to be insane.
They got Aaron Jones, Shaquille Griffin, defensive back.
Jonathan Grenard.
Yep, Jonathan Grenard. So they made some moves, they're not a team that's just going to roll over and not try to win. They kind of remind me of when like the Arizona Cardinals came out last year and everybody knew they were going to be dog shit.
Mhm.
Like Kyler was hurt, but they came out and were like, damn, they're actually playing hard. They're playing like they want to win. And Jonathan Gannon ended up getting a lot of respect, being a pretty competent head coach. I think the Vikings could be that team this year. I think they're going to come out there and they're going to remind you like, hey, we're fucking professional athletes. And the fan base in Minnesota is too passionate. They have a nice, somewhat new stadium that sells out. They're not going to roll over and die. They're going to be a tough out, not fading the Minnesota Vikings. Steak, we're going to end with you. Style, anything you're doing or not doing with the Vikings?
I'm just staying away from them, man. If somebody really wanted me to play it, I'd probably take their under. You kind of said it best, man. I don't have the most faith in this team. I know that they're kind of in a rebuild mode, but I'm just, I'm very unenthusiastic to watch any of these games, to be honest, that involves the Vikings. Obviously, I'm a fan of football, so I will be watching them, but yeah, man, I'm going to be taking the under. I'm staying away, but if somebody told me to, I'd be taking the under on them.
Yep. Okay, fair enough. Fat Girls, Bears fan, are you scared of the Vikings?
Fuck no, dude. Corn stole my spotlight. The only thing I was going to say was I was trying to identify the guy that was going to have the sophomore slump this year, and I was going to take Jordan Addison's under, but he just got arrested, so just go to Steak.
Go to me because I want to rant. Can I rant for a second?
Well, I mean, it's your favorite team, so obviously.
I don't even know. Okay. Every time a guy gets a DUI, you say, like, where are his fucking friends? How does this guy not have a driver? Why would he be driving drunk when he's worth millions and millions of dollars? And that's what you say every time a guy gets a DUI. Now, what do you say when a guy gets a DUI a week after his rookie teammate was killed by a drunk driver? Like, this is the dumbest fucking sports DUI I've ever seen in my life. The most unacceptable one. And it's not like Jordan Addison was sitting at home drinking by himself and then got in his car and drove drunk. He was somewhere with friends and he fucking got in his car and drove away. I just think it's fucking insane. It's the worst sports DUI I can think of, unless I'm missing one, given the circumstance. Everything's going bad for the Vikings, I feel like. And they're the only team in the division that no one likes. Like, let's be honest, no one likes the Vikings. No one wants to bet. What is the win total? 7.5?
I'm seeing 6.5, but I can get you an actual line.
Who the fuck wants to take that? Like, I don't think anybody wants to take that with the news that it's probably Sam Darnold for most, if not all of the season. Doesn't seem like people really like JJ McCarthy. I actually do like JJ McCarthy, but I don't like him this year. And I love Justin Jefferson. I think I can strongly say he's talent-wise the best wide receiver in the NFL. I believe that. But even he's coming off a couple injuries last year. The only thing I'll say about the Vikings is if you're the Packers, Bears, or Lions, I think it sucks for you that that's the worst team in your division, because the worst team in your division has a shit ton of talent. That's the truth. But I don't see any reason to convince people to like, oh, yeah, Henry Ruggs. Was Henry Ruggs even drunk?
I honestly don't even know. But it was obviously way worse. I think you're talking about for like a DUI where like you just get arrested for a DUI.
Yeah. I definitely wasn't including Henry Ruggs in that category. I feel like he's in a category.
Good one, Greg. Thanks for being the fourth person to repeat that joke.
Yeah, you could just come in here and talk with us.
Yeah, 6.5 over minus 160. Maybe there's a 7.5 somewhere. Listen, the last thing I'm going to say about this is Sam Darnold is not a pathetic quarterback. I think he is.
But that's what people are saying. But is he not? Like,
no, he's not pathetic.
Anytime he's had a chance to play, he's been pathetic, right?
I'll tell you right now. And listen, I hate USC. I don't like any quarterback that comes out of USC. I have no reason to try to defend Sam Darnold.
I'm Googling his stats, so you go ahead.
Okay.
But every opportunity Sam Darnold was given, he's just crumbled. Why is he not
Okay, he was with the New York Jets. Who was his fucking head coach with the New York Jets? I think it was Adam Gase. Then he was with the Carolina Panthers. Who was his head coach of the Carolina Panthers? 2 dog shit fucking moronic organizations. I think he was just a backup.
These are excuses, though.
I'm not bailing him out. I'm not saying
you don't like any quarterback comes out of USC.
Well, I'm a Notre Dame fan, so I just hate USC.
Okay.
If that makes sense. I don't root for USC players to do well in the NFL, but because they usually beat the shit out of Notre Dame when they play them. So, but at the same time, I think that this is actually a pretty good situation for him to be in. And I don't even care who the running back is. I just think that Sam Darnold is not going to be pathetic. Bad coaching.
You think he thinks he's in a good situation when they just drafted JJ?
No, I think he thinks he's in a good situation for being Sam Darnold, given the fact that he has those receivers.
Okay. He's not going to revitalize his career and be a starter by any means. Sure. And I think it's okay that he's got a backup right beneath him. I don't think that Sam Darnold's going to go out there and say, hey, I want to make it to the playoffs and I want to win an award. I just think he's going to go out there and like have zero expectations. Nobody's going to be on his ass. Nobody's expecting anything. I think he's going to kind of deliver. I think he's going to be okay.
I don't know the definition of pathetic then. I don't know what our definition of pathetic, because I feel like Sam Darnold's been pretty pathetic as a starter his whole career.
I'll back up a little bit now that I thought about the circumstances, but he hasn't been anything to fuck it, dude. Just move on. We're not going to agree on this.
Yeah, we'll move on. I'm not fading. I'm not fading.
Change the background of your setup. It kind of looks like you're being interviewed, like you just killed somebody.
Fat girls.
You know when they bring people into the interrogation room?
Yes,
that's crazy.
Maybe put a Bears poster in the back.
All right, let's fire our way through the next two divisions. I think we can do it. It's almost 12 o'clock. Again, I'm sorry that we had to start late. Let's talk about the NFC South, and let's rapid fire this. Atlanta Falcons. We know
girls first on the Falcons after you.
Okay, I'll just set the stage, and I'm going to end on the Falcons because I have a thought. The Falcons are, let's see, what's their win total here? 9.5. Raheem Morris, new head coach. Zach Robinson, offensive coordinator. Jimmy Lake, defensive coordinator. Whole new coaching staff. Kirk Cousins, Darnell Mooney. We know Michael Penix is in the background, or in the wings. And I'm not anti-Falcons. I'll end with them. Let's do Fat Girls in style and steak. Fat Girls, what are you doing with the Falcons this year?
Every which way. Division, win total. Kirk Cousins is going to do what Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke couldn't. The reason I get so not pissed off about this topic is people are I told them I want to invest in the Falcons. And I talked about this with Kevin and Steak and a lot of people. And they're like, Kirk Cousins coming off his injury, guys don't come back the same from that. And it's you're not asking Kirk Cousins to do what he did in Minnesota and go air it out for $450 a game in order to win. He doesn't need to do that. You have Bijan, who I will be investing in this year, Pitts, London, and London is so due just to have a good quarterback for them. It's Kirk Cousins doesn't need to do utterly anything insane to win this division. This division's not good. I'm not all about the Baker regression or the Tampa Bay Bucks regression. I think they'll be all right. I mean, they were 9-8 or something, probably hover around there. And the Saints, not in on the Saints, and I think the Panthers will be a little better. But in terms of the Falcons, they played a shit ton of defensive snaps. I went to go check the defensive snap counts from last season, and they had 3 guys in the top 30, which is a lot. Jesse Bates was 3rd. And they were still managed to be a top 11 defense with considering the circumstances of them being on the field so much. So their defense is still going to be good. They did lose Calais Campbell, I believe, and one other name, but they don't have any star-studded talent. They still have Grady Jarrett and Jesse Bates, AJ Terrell, a couple other guys, but I just think Kirk Cousins is the piece that they're missing for this team. And a lot of people are pissed off, oh, why draft Penix and all this? And it's just being out of context. I think this team is really good roster-wise, and I think Kirk is just what they needed.
Style, do you like Kirk Cousins in Atlanta?
Yeah, man, I'm going to back everything Fat Girl said pretty much, with the exception of the draft with Penix. I still can't really wrap my head around that one. I understand you guys can tell me everything you want about why they did it. I've heard it all. Me personally, I can't really wrap my head around it. But I will say, obviously, with Mooney, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, I think with the addition of Kirk Cousins, they will do very well. To keep it short and simple. In the draft, they got some help on defense. They drafted that edge, forgot his name. But I think they did very well in the draft.
Braylon Trice from Washington.
And I think that they what's that?
Braylon Trice from Washington, maybe.
Yeah.
Or Brandon Dorlus or something like that. Yeah. Oh, they got
They did
JD
give them up on
Bertrand from
defense.
Notre Dame. They did get some late round defensive guys.
Yeah, and overall, with their explosive offense and what everybody hopes Kirk Cousins is going to do, man, I think they will do very well this year. So, yeah, I'll back in behind them.
I'm pro Kirk Cousins this year. I think he's going to be in a good. You fucking shaking your head. You're such a
Dude, we've talked about this forever. He just can't get there. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what,
I'm good. Listen, I like his setup. I like his surroundings, and I like that Kirk Cousins is in a new environment. And he's got, you know what the best thing that happened to Kirk Cousins was? Them drafting Penix. Because it's like, you know what? They're also
that's okay, come on.
What do you
Like,
mean?
how the fuck is that good for them?
How was it good for the Packers to draft Jordan Love when they had Aaron Rodgers? Didn't everybody kind of scratch their
Jordan
head with
Love's
that
way
one?
younger. Way younger.
Bro, the difference is they just brought in Kirk and signed him to all that guaranteed money. Rodgers was already there. Like, you knew. I don't disagree with the Love thing. Whatever the fuck, dude. It's different.
I just think that there is something mentally when you at least know there's a young guy in the back waiting to come up, that it just kind of keeps that fire lit under your ass for a vet like Kirk. I think he's going to do well. Steak, what are you doing with the Falcons? Anything?
All right, I don't want to get canceled for this, but you know when you're hammered at the bar and you see your boy go home with a real big girl and you think like, oh, he's going to regret that in the morning. That's how I feel about putting your money on Kirk Cousins, especially Kirk Cousins with expectations, dude. I can't. There's nothing you could do to get me to bet Kirk Cousins. There's just no way. Kirk Cousins with expectations. And then this is the thing I don't like about the Falcons. One, I don't give a fuck what you say. Drafting Penix, was it 8 overall? Was it 8?
Yes.
8
It was
overall?
stupid.
With
It was
all that
stupid.
talent on the board, you drafted Michael Penix. Even a team that needed a quarterback wasn't drafting Michael Penix Jr. 8th overall. That was the dumbest thing, the dumbest draft pick I've ever seen. And then it's like, okay, Drake London should be so good, and Kyle Pitts should be so good, and he's going to spend some time at receiver, and Bijan should be a superstar. And I'm not disagreeing. I think Bijan should be a superstar, but he isn't yet. He wasn't last year. Kyle Pitts hasn't done shit, and Drake London hasn't done enough. And I know it's always about they had Desmond Ridder, they had Tyler Heineke. I get all that.
Exactly what it is.
I'm not buying the Atlanta Falcons at all. I would not put my money there. I don't like them. I don't like backing Kirk Cousins financially.
We can go to war, dude. They already won the
going to
division.
war.
We're going to war this year.
DJ might have stronger knees than Penix. That's funny.
I'm gonna back the Falcons in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not as a team, but I think I might back Kirk Cousins. 9.5 over -135, as I said. You can get an alt over if you think they just dominate this division. If you expect the Saints to just suck, the Bucks to regress. 11.5 +240. If you look at Warren Sharp's book and look at their schedule, it actually looks pretty fucking soft. They start with the Steelers at home. They play in Philly. They play the Chiefs, but they get the Chiefs at home. So
they're starting 0-3.
All right, but hold on. First 5 games are at home.
Probably.
Chiefs, Saints, Bucks. Then they go to Carolina. They play the Seahawks at home. You don't have to travel to Seattle. Bucks, Cowboys at home, Saints on the road, Broncos in Denver. Then a late bye. I like that late bye. Come out of it at home. So they play 2 West Coast teams at home. They don't have to travel to the West Coast. They really don't have to travel that far. They go to Minnesota and then LA back-to-back weeks. That's it. But then they end the season really soft. They play the Giants at home, Commanders on the road, Panthers at home to end the year. I like the way
ghosts in Minnesota.
What?
He'll be seeing ghosts in Minnesota, dude.
I like the way the schedule's set up. I think the Falcons are going to have some success. All right, let's talk about. Let's move on to the next team. Let's talk about my Bucks. I mean, listen, I'm just going to tell you right now. It's no secret, and you can trash me all you want for it. But I was not a very good Bucks fan last year. I didn't know that I wanted to have Baker be the quarterback moving forward and pay him. But you know what? I've come around to it. He was a cool dude. He earned it. He was a dog. Are we going to regret it? Maybe. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm starting to realize, and I've had some friends point out some good things. It's like, what's the alternative? You going to draft a guy? What does that mean? Is he going to be that good? Who fucking knows, right? You're going to sign a dude? Is he going to be good? You don't really know. It's hard to find good quarterbacks. It's hard to find average quarterbacks. So fuck it. I'll take it. Bowles is still the coach. We did lose Canales. He's was the offensive coordinator. He's over the head coach now at Carolina. The new head coach is from Kent State, I think. Liam Cohen, defensive coordinator, Casey Rogers. There's nothing about this coaching staff that excites me. There's really not. Win total at 8.5. Drafted a lineman from Duke, a defensive end from Alabama. You still got the same core at receiver, Godwin, Mike Evans, Trey Palmer. Big fan of him, even though he came from USC. Scumbags. The guy here, I'll keep it short and sweet. I'm not pro Bucks anything, but I'm not anti. It's just kind of a team that has a little bit of the Orlando Magic in them. What I mean by that is they were kind of tight knit. They liked each other. They played hard for each other. Baker was a dude, and I remember seeing it in the offseason. He would go out with the offensive lineman. He would take dudes golfing. He kind of brought them together, and everybody played really hard. And I got to give it to Bowles because he probably coached the best year of his life. I would buy stock in Rachaad White. I like Rachaad White. Maybe rushing yards. Don't know what the line is, but I like the way he ended the season. Now, it's going to be with a different offensive coordinator who really did value the running game, so that might be my only reason I'm like, not all the way in. But that's it, really. I don't have to spend a ton of time on the Tampa Bay Bucks. I like White. Don't know what else I'm going to do. I did see Mike Evans on a top receiver list, came 11th, so he's no longer considered to be a top 10 receiver in the league. I know he's getting older. Might take it.
It's always been disrespected. To be fair,
exactly. Don't fade Mike Evans. It's not a guy you wanted to fade. Style, you high or low on the Bucks or staying away?
Yeah, I'm just stay away, man. Everybody knows I'm not a huge fan of the Bucks. Especially me being so close to Tampa, it's kind of surprising because most of our friends stake are Tampa Bay fans. We got a lot of them. Obviously, beat us first round playoffs. True. 2 years ago. They beat us first round in the playoffs again. I wasted over $3,000 in tickets. Just going to go watch them get smacked over and over. And it's not so much of me just being biased because I don't dislike them. I do think Baker is a bad quarterback, man. I know that I get a lot of hate for that all the time saying that. And you're 100% right. What's the alternative? You know what I mean? So I understand why. I actually like that what you said about him. But I'm not, I'm a fan of some of the players like Mike Evans, right? Can't ever fade Mike Evans, man. I think he's a dog. They got great talent. But yeah, just gonna be a stay away from me, man. I'm not a huge Bucks guy anyway. So
I respect that. Fat Girls, anything on the Bucks this year?
No.
By the way, you can get 7.5 over -150, so the 8.5 is juiced to the under.
I will say too, they won a really terrible division. Who the fuck cares? They won the division. Anyway,
True.
Go ahead.
Fair.
Nothing for me. I was thinking about Rachaad White props, and then Bucky Irving got drafted. I'm just like, I'm good. Fuck this team.
Oh yeah, I like that Bucky Irving driving. That's a good point.
He's good.
Steak. Anything on the Bucks?
Would lean towards buying, but I'm a Baker guy, so I'm ready to be heard again. I do like Baker. I think he got what he deserved money-wise for winning the division in a playoff game, and honestly, a pretty good showing in the NFC divisional round as well against the Lions. I think he deserved what he got, and I like the weapons. I really love Trey Palmer, and I really like Rachaad White. I won't lie to you, and I think Tampa Bay actually has a pretty good culture, and I wouldn't be shocked to see him win the division again. I really wouldn't.
Okay. I think those are all very fair takes on my beloved Tampa Bay Bucks. Let's talk about the Saints. So the Saints were a team, I think in the offseason last year, I initially thought they were going to be my largest wager. I really liked a guy like Derek Carr, not talent-wise, but I just thought maybe, chip on his shoulder, Raiders giving him up, going to a place like New Orleans. End of the day, I didn't pull the trigger because I just do not like Dennis Allen. Not a big Dennis Allen fan. I know they were very trendy. It was like you were either all in on the Falcons last year or you were all in on the Saints. Saints bettors got burned. They, I think they went under their win total and missed the playoffs. So RIP there. I don't know that anybody's really going to go back to the Saints. And I'm not saying that is at all a reason for me to want to get involved, but I also don't think I'm going to be anti-Saints this year, if that makes sense. It's very early. I haven't listened to enough, people talk about the NFL, but I haven't heard a peep about the New Orleans Saints, whereas last year they were the first team I think I heard people talking about. And I think nobody wants anything to do with Derek Carr. I get it. I don't really know. I mean, is Olave enough of a guy to keep you excited? In terms of their offensive firepower, Olave, I don't even know who the fuck their other receiver is. Perry,
Rashid Perry.
I don't know
Cedric
who Perry is. Yeah. So they've got Kamara still. Lost Davenport on the defensive line. They still have Cam Jordan, who's getting old as fuck. Got the Honey Badger. Let's see. In the draft, they went for an offensive tackle from Oregon State. Oh, Fuaga. That guy was pretty good. I think I bet on him in something. They got Spencer Rattler, Kool-Aid McKinstry. They got Chase Young,
From
Willie
Alabama.
Gay.
That's a good one.
Yep, Willie Gay. Michael Thomas is gone. I think that's for the better. But they have a really hard start to the year. They get the Panthers at home, but then they got the Cowboys on the road, Eagles at the Falcons, at the Chiefs. Pretty tough. They have a late bye.
That's brutal.
Yep, late bye in week 12, which I like. The win total is now to 7.5. If anything, I'm probably going to buy stock low on the New Orleans Saints. Here's the one thing I'm apprehensive about. Clint Kubiak is now the new offensive coordinator. He is Gary Kubiak's son. He was an offensive coordinator for the Vikings. The last year, I think Zimmer got fired. I am not in on any sort of nepotism on guys unless they prove it, like Kyle Shanahan. So that might be enough to keep me off. I didn't get the juice on their 7.5 win total for anybody. I'll find it. But anyways, we can start going on the room. Oh, the 7.5 is over -120. Steak, high or low on the Saints or nothing?
This would be one where my contrarian brain wants me to be high on the Saints.
Fair enough.
But God, I actually might hate Dennis Allen more than everyone in the chat does. I think I was texting you all year last year, like, how does this guy keep having a job? He's one of the worst ever. His record as a head coach backs that up. Like, he's the worst. However, Derek Carr, you're talking about a chip on your shoulder. If Derek Carr had any real chip on his shoulder, it would be this year, because people are literally wanting him to get benched for Spencer Rattler. And it's not like Spencer Rattler was a first or second round pick. He was like, what, QB number 7 or 8 on the board, who got picked up in the 4th or 5th round. And people want, like, I feel like Saints fans want Spencer Rattler to play. But they have weapons. They have guys. I think Rashid Shaheed's underrated. I think Chris Olave is awesome. I think Alvin Kamara is borderline difference maker possibility with his catching and running ability. And I think that for most of our lives, the culture for the Saints has been a winning one as well.
True.
And the defense. So I honestly kind of like the Saints, but I know we always make a promise to each other every year. Don't bet on bad coaches. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get there with Dennis Allen.
All very fair. Fat girls?
I'm good, dude. I feel like Derek Carr has had a chip on his shoulder for like 5 years now. I'm just all the way out. He sucks.
Right.
Dennis Allen sucks. You're like a Chris Olave or a Rashid Shaheed injury away from throwing the ball to A.T. Perry and Equinemius St. Brown. Their defense is old. Like, Cameron Jordan's still good, but he's old. DeMario Davis old. Tyron Smith
Marshawn
old.
Lattimore.
Marshawn Lattimore gets hurt.
Yeah.
I'm just good. There's nothing to like for me.
Tyron Smith is old, but that's a good pickup. I will say for them, I think that's a good pickup.
Yeah, and they got Chase Young too, but at the same time, like I'm saying, like, these are just all guys that get injured. Like, they're all injured and old.
They're not. Chase Young's not a difference maker, anyways. I don't feel.
Style, you in or out on the Saints this year?
Yeah, I'm definitely out on him. Like,
Out.
kind of what Fat Girls was saying, man. It's funny. Me and a couple of my buddies just started having this thing last season where we just pretty much bet on Derek Carr to see if he would play in slow motion. Man, like, the dude looks very unathletic, unathletic. And I'm not. I do think they got some good pickups in the draft, like you mentioned, buddy from Alabama, and then Spencer Rattler. I think the Gamecocks are good given their division. So, do I think Derek Carr gets benched? Somebody said it in the chat. It's a possibility, and I honestly think that wouldn't be the worst thing. But no matter what, whether you have a rookie quarterback or not, or Derek Carr, I don't think this team's going anywhere, man. So I'm going to be out on him.
If he gets benched, all the unders are hitting. He's not going to get benched week 3, so it would be like week 8 or 9, and they'll be 2-6 or something. So
it won't matter at that point anyway. So
Alvin Kamara is only 28. For some reason, he feels like he's getting in his 30s. Last team in this division we can go through pretty quickly. The Carolina Panthers, 5.5 win total. They've got Canales, new head coach. Brad Itzik, who was the wide receiver coach for the Bucs last year, as their offensive coordinator. They kept their defensive coordinator from last year. You might be able to find a juiced over 4.5 win total. They were 2-15 last year. Xavier Legette, first pick for wide receiver. Jonathan Brooks, runner back from Texas. Not bad. Not a bad 1-2 right there. For whatever reason, they still have Thielen coming back. They've got Tommy Tremble. I'm going to probably just stay away from this team. I thought Mid-Major Matt or somebody made a really good look last year on like looking for their unders to bet on straight. I feel like people are going to get cute with the Carolina Panthers. Does anybody agree or disagree that people are going to get cute with an over on the Carolina Panthers? I'm totally out on this team. I don't need to spend much time talking about it. Style, are you on the Carolina Panthers?
No, honestly, it's one of the most talked about teams on my stream, to be honest, on the Easy Money stream. Everybody wants to know. I think the over-under is at 4.5. Is it still 4.5, Fat Girls? You know?
I can't imagine it moving.
I mean, I guess I could pull it up, but either way, man, it's just so uninteresting. Why even take that bet? You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Honestly, division sucks. Panthers suck. They're obviously in rebuild mode. But I don't have a lot of faith in Bryce Young. I mean, I don't even know. Honestly, I don't know if he should be in the NFL, man. I mean, not hating on his size or anything like that, but NFL's a different game, man. I don't know what's going on with Mike. Is there feedback on my mic?
I just hear a lot of noise. I don't know which one of you it's from. It's like a loud car.
Something sounds crazy. I think.
Is it done? There was some shit going on outside.
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh, okay.
You want me to go on the Panthers?
Yeah, I'm done.
I think Bryce Young's terrible. I don't know what anybody saw
should
last
be in the
year.
NFL terrible?
I think he's really bad and will be out of the NFL soon. I don't know what anybody saw last year from Bryce Young to think he's going to make some giant leap. He doesn't have the tools or the frame, and I'm not buying it. They drafted a quarterback number 1 overall, and you're saying they're rebuilding. That's how bad they are. They're really, really bad. I see no reason to believe the Carolina Panthers should win 6 games or more this year, even in the division. I know everyone considers it to probably be, if I'm not mistaken, the weakest division in football. I don't think it's happening, man. I think the Bryce Young project is over at the end of next year, potentially. I think he's really, really bad.
No.
Dude, this might be the weirdest running back room in the NFL, bro. Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders, Rashad Penny, and Jonathan Brooks.
Rashad Penny.
Poor
Are they
Sanders,
moving,
by the
like
way.
rentals into the NFL? I don't know, but that's all I have to say
don't like
about that.
spending your second rounder on a running back there. I'll just say it. I don't know what he brings. He's got to be really good for that to be worth it.
I guess that's a good point. I thought he was really good when I watched a decent amount of Texas last year. All right, NFC West, it is 12:03. We're going over time, but I think we can fly through this fairly quickly. Let's talk about, I think, one of the most hyped teams coming into this year, which you probably don't hear very often with a 6.5 win total. Is it me? I thought we were going to be early on this. I think we all kind of like the Arizona Cardinals. I'm not hearing anybody say a bad thing about the Arizona Cardinals. Did they just end the year too well last year? And now everybody wants to get on them, what they feel like is a really appealing number at 6.5. I thought I was going to go all in on this team, honestly. Be like my cheeky, kind of like be my Texans, or I didn't end up betting the Texans, but be the Texans of last year. Similar win total, maybe make playoffs, not necessarily win the division because the Niners are in it. 6.5 over is -150. I don't know what I want to do with the Cardinals, but I think I want to buy stock in them in some way. So I don't know what the other lines are right off the bat. But let's see. Gannon was our head coach last year. He was, I thought he was a dorky ass dude, kind of like Sirianni, ended up turning out to be pretty important. And what we saw from the Philadelphia Eagles defense and how poorly they regressed, I think that kind of was a testament to, like, damn, maybe Jonathan Gannon knows what the fuck he's doing. So they got Marvin Harrison Jr., which is already, by the way, cracked the top 10 wide receivers list. He has taken the place of Mike Evans. Mike Evans is now 11th in what I saw.
That's insane.
That's crazy. But at the end of the day, I think he's going to be an all-world talent. I'm okay with the draft pick. Let's see if I can find the Arizona Cardinals preview here. Let's see. Nope. Oh yeah, there it is. It's in the Warren Sharp book. By the way, Sam Laporta is officially the number 1 tight end in the NFL according to his rankings. Trey McBride is 4th. Drew Petzig, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, coming back from last year. A bunch of no-namers. Not even going to touch on that. In the draft, after Harrison, they got Darius Robinson, defensive end. Max Melton, DB from Rutgers. Trey Benson from Florida State, kind of like him. Signed Jonah Williams, left tackle. Justin Jones, Sean Murphy-Bunting. Nobody else really after that. DJ Dallas, etc. Desmond Ritter's the backup. Nice new place for him to go to. I thought Kyler looked pretty good. I thought the offense looked pretty good. I don't know. Is everybody going to be on the Cardinals? Like, is just going to be the fake sharp fucking play of the year? The Cardinals over 6.5 wins. It is heavily juiced, -150. Steak, are you on the Cardinals?
I would lean being on the Cardinals, even though I agree with everything you just said. I do think they'll be pretty trendy, and it's because I thought last year they were going to be the worst team in the NFL, and I think a lot of people agreed with me, and they played really well, way better than expectations or anyone thought they would. So now I can obviously see why people would be high on them this year, especially since Kyler Murray's going into the season healthy. With that being said, I'm not going to get contrarian and fade the Cardinals, and you'll probably see why when we talk about the next few teams in the NFC West, because I don't really love the NFC West this year. So I'm not. There's just no shot I am fading the Cardinals.
People say this, but that's not true. I don't just follow like the Book It group and all the Book It followers. What I think everybody should do in life is follow people and surround yourself with people that you disagree with and that have different viewpoints. I listen to so many opinions in the sports world. People that I disagree with. I mean, even like fucking Colin Cowherd. My stepdad loves Colin Cowherd. I think the guy is a total bozo. But I still like to know what Colin Cowherd likes and compare things. So I don't necessarily just listen to one group of people. So if everybody's on them, it's like, oh, well, yeah, they all think like us. I don't know anybody that says a bad thing about the Cardinals. Style, are you on the Cardinals this year?
To be honest, no, man. It's kind of one of those things. Wait and see for me. I don't think I'd take them at 6.5 for -150. I think that line's a little juiced. I mean, given MHJ, I think that they'll be better. And like he said, going into the season healthy, Kyler Murray. But yeah, man, it's just wait and see for me. I don't have anything bad to say about him. So
okay, fair enough. Fat Girls, I had to mute you because there's like some background noise going on.
Yeah, my bad.
That's all
right. I'm not seeing it with the Cardinals, to be honest. And I think their first 8 weeks is like kind of brutal. Like you start off in Buffalo and then come home to play the Rams. Then you're hosting Detroit, hosting Washington. Then you're on the road in San Fran, on the road in Green Bay, come back to play LA again, and then on the road in Miami. Like, I just think that 3 or 4 in the middle is tough. And I'm not seeing it with the roster either. It just kind of feels like everybody betting on the Cardinals, you're just hoping for like a Kyler and Marvin Harrison masterclass. Like their defense still isn't really that good. Michael Wilson's all right. They signed Zay Jones. James Conner is consistent, but I'm not seeing it.
Damn.
They drafted an edge too.
I think they'll be sneaky on the spread a lot though. Like they'll be feisty, but I'm just not seeing like their over win total. Not for me.
I'm good. Fair. I'm good with that approach. Between the Seahawks, Rams, and Niners, just to finish it up fairly strong, is there anything you guys have to touch on with these teams? I don't know what I'm doing with the Niners. I mean, does anybody actually think that they're a legit Super Bowl pick this year? Like, would you advise that? You're shaking your head, Steak. Is that a yes?
They absolutely are. I don't know that I can believe Kyle Shanahan will beat the Chiefs if he gets there, but very easily could see the 49ers back in the Super Bowl. I actually see no reason not to believe they will be.
Anybody else like the Niners to win the Super Bowl? I'm just starting to get a little bit. Right? What's that?
They got that guy from Florida, Mr. One Hand, Pearson.
Pearsall, yeah, they did.
Yeah. I don't know.
It just feels like if Debo gets hurt, this team is lost on offense.
Yeah.
The Niners are 6-1, by the way. The Chiefs are 5-1. I don't know that the Niners are starting to give me the vibes that they just might not be able to ever cross the finish line. I really was kind of disappointed with George Kittle. The clip that came out with him where he was like, what did he say? Hi, George, to the
hi, George, while he's recovering a fumble. It's one of the worst. It's really, really bad.
Can I ask you a question about George Kittle? Because I really like George Kittle. I really like George
him
Kittle.
too. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Is he getting annoying?
Have you watched Receiver on Netflix?
The reason I ask is this. I watched the trailer of The Receiver on Netflix.
If you watch the entire thing, you'll probably hate him after. I'm not going to lie. If you're already feeling that way after the trailer.
His shtick in the trailer, just now, especially after what just happened in the Super Bowl, it's kind of getting annoying. Yeah, Snacks said it really well. Like Kelsey. Kind of like Kelsey.
Yeah.
Just like a little.
Kelsey's a whole other level. But I just want to say, I watched the Netflix special. I watched the whole thing. And he seems like a real nice guy, real nice son or whatever the fuck, real nice husband. But I used to think like, wow, this is the most competitive dude ever. Like this is the most competitive tight end I've ever seen. I feel like that was like the narrative he had about his career. And I almost feel like it's not anywhere near that. It's like class clown type of shit.
Everything's a big joke.
Funny jokes on the field with the defenders and fucking have mic'd up clips and shit. It's just didn't do it for me. I honestly thought to myself watching that, I was like, I would fucking hate to be on a losing team with Devontae Adams And I don't think I'd like to be on any team with George Kittle. And I know I'm probably in the minority because it seems like his teammates love him, but I just feel like it was some goofy shit he was doing.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I feel like they kind of paint characters, you know what I mean? Just like any show. But I mean, we got to be careful talking about Kelsey too. You remember me and Steak did a bit about Kelsey one time, and it went viral for all the wrong reasons.
I think I was in on that too.
Oh yeah,
you were.
Yeah.
We said the Kelsey podcast was like staged where they got mad at each other and like the guy walked out or something. And you got to be careful.
Just came for us, man.
The Swifties will come after you hard. Outside of that, Seahawks, I don't really have anything that I'm like pro or against. They have the Ravens defensive coordinator as their head coach now. Not really a Geno guy. They got Sam Howell in the wings. I'm gonna just sit tight on the Seahawks until I do more digging. No initial thoughts right off the bat. If anybody's got anything, feel free.
I don't like the Seahawks with Geno Smith. I could maybe get behind them with Sam Howell because I am a Sam Howell truther.
You love some Sam Howell, dude.
I do. With the weapons, with Lockett, JSN, and DK, Sam Howell should be able to do things, I would assume, in a better offensive line. I like Kenneth Walker a lot. I think he's really good. So I don't like Geno Smith. I think that experiment's over. It was cute. He got his money, and I just think that's a wrap. I would lean towards fading the Seahawks.
I am going to fade the Los Angeles Rams, and I'm doing it because Aaron Darnold is gone, and I think that was a big important, not even so much just talent-wise, but I think having a guy like that in your locker room makes everybody better, and Raheem Morris being gone. I am aware how good Puka Nacua is and Cooper Kupp is and Stafford. Just getting a little older. He's somewhat injury-prone. I think they shored up the offensive line, but it's a long season. I don't think the defense is going to be as good. I think the offense is going to be relied upon a lot more. I will be fading them. Did I say, Aaron Darnold? Did I not say that right?
Take.
Donald. It's Aaron Donald.
Is it Donald?
Aaron Darnold sounds like an asshole.
Aaron Donald. I'm very sorry. I do that from time to time. BGen the DGen is asking for a recap. I think we liked the Eagles. None of us really liked the Cowboys. The Giants, Steak, and
we're half and half. Kind of wait and see.
I'm gonna wait. Me and Style are no thanks. Steak and Fat Girls are kind of coming around to it. And the Commanders, everybody's pretty high on the Commanders. I'm still apprehensive, but I could get there with something. Jared Verse, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Bro, you know Jared Verse was my guy last year in the draft, and he fell for whatever reason. Steak is shaking his head no. I don't know.
Dallas Turner. Already won it.
Aaron Darnold sounds
I'm a little
like
late to this, DGen, but I wanted to ask a quick question about what happened with the bench press competition.
That's a good question.
You did it.
Well, yeah, we set a line. I did 185 18 times. The next one is going to be 225. I'll do that next, actually, this week. I don't know.
What do you set my line at?
18 and a half?
Yeah.
185?
185 18.
Wow, nice.
I could have gotten 20 if I had a spotter. I don't want to be the guy that drops the weight on my shoulder or on myself. I'll do 225. I don't know. What do you think of a fair line if I can do 185 18 times?
What do you think, Kyle? I was going to say 6.5.
No, I can do more than that.
Oh, you can?
I'd say 12 and a half.
Ooh, that's a lot.
12.
That's a lot.
I was going to say 10 and a half.
I think you can get 185 for 18 and 20 with a spotter. First of all, you don't need a spotter for 185. You drop 185 on your chest, it won't hurt.
No, I know, but I'm talking about when your arms are on fire.
Nah, you'll be all right.
But if I drop them, I can't get it back up.
I think it's 9.5.
I'll give him 12 and a half.
Very funny.
That's high, bro. That's high.
Nah, trust me, man.
12 and a half's high. That's an alt line. That's plus 205 to the over. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. It's 12:15. Style, Fat Girls, Steak. Thank you guys very much for hanging out and talking football. I am very excited. Look at those Rams schedule too. It's disgusting. Cooley, first time chatter. My bad, I didn't see you in there. I didn't even look at the schedule. Again, this wasn't really a deep dive. We're just touching on everything. You guys have a great day. Thanks for hanging out. Easy money will get ramped up when football gets going. Can't wait. Fat Girls, thanks for jumping in too, man. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
See you guys.
I'm going to shut it down.
Appreciate you guys. Peace out.
Thank you guys. Take it easy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to shut it down. No raids either. I got to get back to work. Thank you for hanging out. Ask Greg to spot if he leaves his house anymore. W Stream boys, good football talk. Thank you, Bobby Picks. Appreciate it. 12.5. Give me an under. Yeah, the under is going to be juiced though, like minus 250. AFC we'll do tomorrow. We'll talk tomorrow. We'll have Greg on. He's already doing a deep dive a little bit, but we won't get too involved. Again, we're just touching on things. And this is foreplay. This is foreplay for the NFL talk. Have a great day. I'll check you guys later. And I was going to say good luck on your bets, but there's nothing really to bet.